onslaught on over-the-counter cold medications, and they're very scarce in the stores right now. So the one that works for me the best is Mucinex. I don't know if you use
Shirley
Mucinex.
loves Mucinex. Yep.
Mucinex, pretty good. I mean, I got to say, it kind of busted it up after I finally got a hold of some. But it took me 2 days of searching various stores to find any Mucinex on the shelf. And then when you get there, there's like one packet left, and there's 3 or 4 people descending on it. It looks like an NFL fumble, right? Where you keep digging at the bottom of the pile. No, the Colts got it. No, it looks like the Ravens. Unbelievable.
The time. Wake up with Defo, joined by Lubie. Welcome to the Defo Show.
And a very special good morning, everybody. Good to be with you here on the Defo Show. Jeff DeForest, one Mike Lubie Lubitz. And today, of course, we'll feature the Hialeah Park Trivia Challenge. Going to be joined by one Dave Gurggles Gergely. Your chance to win a Landlubbers gift certificate and also the distinction of being a champion here on South Florida Live and the Defo Show. And I would imagine many of the usual suspects will line up and play. But we welcome new players.
Yes.
It's arbitrary to get in. If you give us a call at 954-417- 0070. We're going to get that started in about 15 minutes here. And another action-packed edition of the program here put together by producer extraordinaire, Mr. Mike Lubie Lubitz, who yesterday, I had a lot of fun yesterday with that Mike McIntyre. Dusty May, it was unfortunate we didn't have him on video, and we lost our video with Kate and Bradar, but Kate always great. Although, I don't know, who did she end up picking in the race? Do we know? The Pegasus Stakes that goes Saturday at Gulfstream Park. I'm not sure if she ever gave us her selection.
I'll text her and see what her pick is.
Find out what her pick is, yeah. And we'll run into her tomorrow when we're out there with Mike Mayo and the Mike Mayo Lunchbox. And the day before Big Stakes Day is usually a lot of fun at a racetrack. And maybe even more so because of the fact that they have a somewhat significant admission charge to get into the Pegasus Stakes. Not that it isn't warranted. The people at Gulfstream Park obviously know what they're doing in terms of marketing their product, but they will have a big crowd on hand, and they're willing to pay a premium to be a part of an extravaganza, right? I mean, this is almost like going to the Royal Ascot, South Florida version, Pegasus Stakes. And it's nice. I mean, you know what? You have to horse racing fans are traditionally extremely bitter and hate change, Louis. Have you noticed that? Is it because we're a bunch of old farts in general? Young kids, you don't see as many young kids at the track as you do pounding away on various proposition bets on the National Football League, on the NBA. They're betting 20-team parlays, all being encouraged by an assortment of people who you would think, I don't know, I mean, were they even gamblers? Were the Mannings sending it in on various gambling propositions? No? Jamie Foxx, I could see being a gambler. He's, a guy that kind of is very diversified. I could see him being a big sports fan and being a gambler. I don't know. Kevin Hart, is he sending it in just for the sheer sake of it? What do you think? All these guys, Drew Brees. I mean, Drew Brees, in the name of God, is he really encouraging little kids to bet money on football games that are decided by just absolutely bizarre, outrageously inconsistent decisions made by NFL officials who appear to be blind? They never factor that into those commercials. They just make it look like everybody's winning money, right? Me, I have a whole new game, and this is good. You guys will find this interesting, but it's working out so far. Well, I still need this one young lady to win one more game, but no more horses for me. That's it. I'm done. I'll never gamble on another horse race again.
Sure. Yeah. Exactly.
Football, forget about it. We know we can't pick our nose when it comes to football. People are, saying how expert they are at picking games, and they end up 3-7 in 10 playoff games, which is where we were at. Not exactly a stellar resume and a foundation for trying to make big profits in the future there. Your money is going to dissipate very quickly if you go 3-7 consistently in the National Football League or college football or anything like that. College basketball, a lot of people say that's the easiest game to hit. I don't know. Is it, Lubie? What do you think? If you really know what you're doing, I mean, that's part of the problem. Although it's the parity. I mean, is that favorable? I guess it's favorable for underdog players. No.
Yeah, I've never really played college basketball at all. The professor, I think a couple times he's had a really big bet. So it's like when he's excited about something, it's like, screw it here. But I don't follow it anymore. Like I don't like just betting wildly on things I have no idea about. And college basketball is pretty much that. And by the tournament, it's like you do a bracket. That's your betting.
Is it easier or tougher to follow now that you see like every game? Like if you look at the TV schedule any given night, and I don't even know if they even have a chance to list every game, but there are like 50 games offered up on TV every night. Seeing more basketball, does that make it more difficult to define exactly what you're doing? Because there used to be sort of an order to it, right? I mean, you had the heavyweights, and I would imagine too. This is now true a little bit of college football, where you still have your heavyweights, and I think you'll have your have and have-nots, and it'll be even more extreme with the name, image, and likeness thing. But is that working the same way in college basketball? Because it does seem like a zillion teams have a shot. I was looking at Brandon Lang gave us Iowa State, told us not to sleep on Iowa State as a potential NCAA champion. Right? You know what the odds are on Iowa State? 40 to 1 right now.
Ooh.
40 to 1 you could get to win the NCAA title. Would you take that? Imagine you'd be in pretty good shape if they won a couple of games in the tournament there, because it would be Hedge City from that point on. Iowa State, can they win the NCAA title? I mean, nobody at the top is so overwhelmingly impressive. Purdue's been up there all year. Houston, I haven't seen Houston play. Have you? Houston in college basketball?
Just lost. That's all I know is that they lost. That's just, they were number 1 and they lost.
They lost to Temple, which was enough to drop them all the way down to number 3. But the rankings aren't so overwhelmingly significant at this point in the season, because they actually play each other for the championship.
Yep.
So, whether you like the format of the tournament or you think it's fair, I mean, it's more than fair in my estimation, except that Duke always gets a favorable seeding beyond the scope of what their resume and accomplishments during the regular season had deserved. That they always end up like a number 2 seed, even when they're having a lousy year, and then get the softest route to a possible championship. I'm not sure if they're going to be held in that same favor now. It seems like they've sort of drifted a little bit. Without Coach K, the limelight and the spotlight is not as sharply focused on Duke as it's been in the past. Is that a fair statement, Mike Lubie?
It's true. I thought about it this year. I'm like, why am I not hearing about Duke so much? And I realized,
right.
Coach K.
No Coach K, right. I mean, if Coach K was there, Duke would be number 1, even though they have sustained several losses. It's the same thing like Nick Saban. They try to get Nick into the championship round. But no more betting on college basketball. No more betting on college football. Okay. No more betting on horses. No more betting on hockey games or whatever. I am strictly betting prop bets that I saw recommended yesterday on the Tennis Channel, which is in bed with DraftKings. I mean, there's no dodging it. I mean, whatever it is, and betting matches. Okay, you could probably do okay there, but you're probably laying prohibitive odds in a lot of these matches. In other words, if you're going to take the Joker in any match leading up, in any match period, he's going to be in the semifinals now against the American who survived all of the early rounds, Tommy Paul, who's having a real good tournament, and he knocked out this kid Ben Shelton, who was a University of Florida player who really put on a hell of a show. At first, I didn't care for Shelton and his antics, but then I started to really like the kid. And when you see him in interviews, seemed like a really delightful young man. His father was a pro player. I don't know that he was a very, overwhelmingly significant pro player, but he was a pro player, and he ended up coaching at the University of Florida. Ben Shelton went there, left-handed player, 20 years old, never been out of the country before, Lubie. And he made it to the quarterfinals of the Australian Open, mowed down a pretty good series of opponents, and then ran into the American Tommy Paul. And Paul, a little bit more mature at this point, I guess, in terms of being able to handle the condition that you need to be in to win these kind of events. I think Shelton might have run a little bit out of gas. Excuse me. That's possible. But nonetheless, put up a hell of a fight, even in that match. Paul has now the distinction of being able to go against Novak Djokovic, who's mowed down everybody, even on a bum leg. I mean, I don't know what this guy. How could a guy be that much better than everybody else? It's incredible. Now, there's no Alcaraz in this tournament, and he might have been able to give the Joker a go, but nobody else has even been able to even remotely test Novak Djokovic so far in this tournament. I don't know that he's dropped a set. I want to say no to that. And now goes against Tommy Paul, who's played very well, but you would have to think Djokovic heavy favorite there. So are you betting straight up matches? I don't know. You have to lay probably a big price. You had to lay a price on Djokovic for him to sweep the 3 sets against this guy named Rublev, who's a Russian player, very good Russian player, always highly competitive, but not quite in that upper echelon. I mean, he just can't seem to crack through to that like top 3, top 4. But nonetheless, I mean, no slouch. Highly competitive guy, has a lot of game, maybe a little short on the second serve, But Joker, you had to lay 115 to win 100 if you wanted Joker to sweep the 3 sets. Sweep. And he did.
Oh,
He
he
just
did?
mopped the floor with this guy. Yeah, absolutely. In the quarterfinals. Without any sort of a threat or challenge. But in this case, I'm betting, and now it's in jeopardy. I'm betting the over 20 and a half games in the Sabalenka-Lynette match. How about that? All right. So you get the ideal circumstance in the first set, a tiebreaker, 7-6, 13 games. Okay. Now, what do you need in the next set? You only need 6-2,
Oh,
6-2,
the
and
match.
you're over.
For the whole match.
For the whole match, yeah, total number of games. All right, so if it goes 3 sets, obviously you're going to be a winner
Okay.
because somebody would have had to. They would have had to split the first 2, so they each would have had to have 6 wins. That's 12 right there, and I mean, unless it was a bagel each way, which is very unusual, you would probably have 16 games already in the bank there. You're definitely going over if it's a 3-set match. Now you get a tiebreaker in the first set, and what do you need? All you need is 6-2, Lubie. 6-2. All right, so Lynette holds serve in the first game, and she even if she loses in straight sets, she only has to win one more game. Hold serve one more time. This is a girl that's been dynamite. I mean, nobody knows who she is. She's from Poland, and she's just continued to surprise people by winning matches in this tournament. She's been around for a little while. It's not like she's a newcomer, but never did anything of this level of significance. And she only has to win one more game now, but she's down 4-1 in the second set, and is about to go down 5-1. So if she doesn't hold serve, imagine this. You have this thing in the bag. It's in the bag. 20 and a half. You only need 2 holes of serve from Lynette, who's been dynamite the whole tournament. And all of a sudden, she's now down 5-1. So if she doesn't win this game, you lose your bet.
But it's
Even though they totaled 13 games in the first set, right? Now they're going to go 7. It's going to be right on 20. Oh, my God. How good are these line makers? It's either going to be 20 or 21 games. That's the way this looks. That's incredible. And they put up a number of 20 and a hook. Number of total games in a women's semifinal tennis tournament with a woman, Sabalenka, who I thought might win the whole thing. I mean, she's been sitting on the cusp of a breakthrough, but she always has some kind of, it seems like a mental breakdown, even though she seems like a very together individual. So, and not necessarily one that's taking life overwhelmingly seriously, but on the court, she has kind of, I mean, I guess it's sort of a self-defeating appearance sometimes, and she was had the yips on her serve last year with double fault all the time. I mean, it was amazing how she couldn't find the court with her second serve. I mean, it was straight into the fence, my friend. Like the ball would hit Rod Laver in the eyeball, the second serve, and he's in the third row behind the retriever, the returner. All right, so this is bad, Louis. This is a lot of betting tension here for me because you have Sabalenka now up 5-1, and she wins the first point. As Lynette only needs to hold serve here for you to go over in the proposition bet. She loses this game, you lose. After having everything going your way, every single thing is going your way. Well, that just shows you the treachery of gambling. How good are these numbers that they plug into computers that they come up with the lines on stuff like that? Are you kidding me, Lubie? That's scary, isn't it? Big Brother's watching. We didn't know Big Brother was going to come in the form of legalized wagering on sporting events. And then eventually it was going to take over and sap all of the strength of the human race. And we were going to perish in a sea of losing tickets. There you go. I should write a novel, huh? Sabalenka is now up 30-love in this game. This is outrageous that this is going to end this way. How sad. I was in the shower celebrating. Hey, I got this. This is in the bag. I saw it go to the tiebreaker. I said, that's it. All I need is 6-2 in the next set. And I'm golden. And if the girl comes on a little bit, even better. But all right, she comes back and gets a point. I don't want to do a play-by-play here. I sound like I'm doing the old Eddie Kaplan highlight show. Yeah, exactly. Is that the 2? That was Hank. Okay, we're going to have the Hialeah Park Trivia Challenge today, so you can dial us up on that, 954-417-0070. You win a Landlubbers gift certificate if you take that down, and we have many illustrious players that no doubt will be lined up and be part of that show. Dave Gurggles Gergely going to be the master of ceremonies there. Later on, Lesley Visser, the lovely and talented one, going to join us. She's been world traveling? Is that what you say, Lubie?
Yeah, she was in Uzbekistan, and I'm still trying to figure out
where? Kazakhstan?
Uzbekistan.
Uzbekistan. What's
Yes.
going on there?
I think they want her to talk about, broadcasting, and she's a woman, and I guess they're trying to be more equality driven. And then she also sat down with the cast, the legendary cast of 80s for Brady. You know that it's
Oh yeah.
the movie with Lily Tomlin.
Now, what's your inclination towards watching that?
Oh, I would be disgusted to watch that, but I love her.
Yeah.
I love Visser. So I'm happy
You're not
for her.
gonna, I mean, what is that 80s for Brady?
I don't know. It's centered around these 80-year-old women, I guess, or women around their 80s that
all
are
love
obsessed
Brady?
with Brady. Yeah, and they're trying to, I don't know, follow him. I have no idea. I saw commercials for it. I saw the name Brady and I got sick. But it's a good cast. I mean, they're all legendary, tremendous women actresses. So, and I like Lily Tomlin. Jane Fonda's great. I don't care about Brady, but I love Lesley Visser, and I'm glad she got to sit down with him. So,
all right, hold back on the Bunsen burner for my cash here. Up 40-15. Sabalenka just shanks one. If Lynette can win this game, Sabalenka can just close it out with her serve, and we get the over of 20 and a hook. How insane is this, Lubie? This is what Degenerate Friday is all about. It shows you can only become totally mashugana if you start gambling on things. And this is really an obscure one, but wow, that this is coming down to this level of tension is incredible. Otherwise, the match is pretty much a foregone conclusion, right? There's no way Sabalenka is going to get broken like 3 more times and lose this thing. So she's going to go on to the final, where she's going to face this other sort of young upstart who came out of nowhere last year and won Wimbledon. Rybakina is how you pronounce her name. It looks like Rybakina, but Rybakina. And she won Wimbledon, and then remember she started popping off, making a lot of noise, which was seemed out of character for her. She kind of looked like a quiet, keep to yourself, sort of sheepish type, although it was a killer out there in the court. And she won Wimbledon, and then I think she got knocked out in the first round of the U.S. Open after opening up a big mouth about, I forget what it was that she was talking about, but said something that could be interpreted as being demeaning to other players, I guess, or whatever, the tournament. And next thing you know, boom, right out in the first round. But this would be 2 out of 3 majors that she could win, Rybakina, who is going to be a tough out. Sabalenka now with another match point, and the under players are just quivering in fear right now. I mean, the over players, like me, and I have a funny feeling she's going to whack a second serve for a winner here. And that's going to be it. All right. We're going to dig up Dave Gurggles Gergely. Jim Larranaga going to join us later on also. We always love talking basketball with Jim Larranaga. And I watched it again last night. I've seen it different times and pieces. I think that's a really good show, that Showtime documentary. We had, who did we have? Did we have Kenny Anderson on the show?
Yes.
Talking about the New York Point Gods show on Showtime?
Yep.
If anybody could relate to a lot of that, it would be one Jim Larranaga, who did he not say that he at one time was playing in that Rucker League? Jim Larranaga, was he out there playing in the Rucker League?
So in the early days, yeah. I mean, he would have been there when it was first becoming a thing.
Yeah. Fat Joe owned the team. Jay-Z got involved. I mean, this was a good documentary, and some of the guys that were featured. Well, we had Ray Ferralston here, Skip to My Lou, was with the Miami Heat for a little while, and actually was a very effective player there. Was he not?
Yeah.
Wasn't really that flashy Skip to My Lou guy. He was mostly good, shooting 3-pointers, wasn't he?
He became a point guard. He was on that team with young Wade and Lamar Odom and Caron Butler that made an interesting run with a bunch of young kids.
It's all riding on this next shot, Louis. Lynette has taken the advantage in this thing, bounced back from two game points down, and now has the advantage. So if she gets this point, you cannot lose. The over. The over players are cashing. Coach looks tense. Looks like he has money on this as well.
Oh my God.
I would think zero chance Lynette comes back and wins this, although stranger things have happened. But here it is. This is for all the money, Lubie. Is that an ace? No, it's out. Oh my God, this is tension, the divine level of tension here. This is worse than sweating out a 3-horse photo, and or that DQ that we had to sweat out. Although we had it covered either way, but it was like an $8,000 difference when Maximum Security got disqualified in the Kentucky Derby, and they took 30 minutes to make the announcement. Here it is. Did she get this? Yes. All right. Over. Never happier to see a woman win what looks to be a meaningless game in a tennis match, right? Because she's probably going out in the very next game. So it's going to be 21, the number, after they put it up at 20 and a hook. Just
really
unbelievable.
And that, like the Kevin Hart, it's celebrity people, so we want to follow our celebrities. But to me, again, I just sit there thinking the whole time, do they really gamble? Like it would be you with like Andy and like Jers that should really sell this stuff.
Yeah.
Because you really do gamble
Here's one for you. How come there's never an ATM machine in the background of any of these commercials? Never. Right? The whole thought that you might need money to do this. I just did see, too, from the godfather of large bets, at least as far as we know. I mean, and the guy, he puts his tickets up there on Facebook for all to see. Sheldon G. sent in 55 dimes to win 50 on the Kansas City Chiefs getting 1 point. Chiefs now getting 1 point in that ballgame at the South Point Casino in Las Vegas. 55,000 to win 50 on the Chiefs. Mike Vaccaro in the New York Post. I read a nice column by Mike. Of course, always a great writer, top sports writer in New York again this year. Won it for like the fourth or fifth time. I think you know what? The only guy that has more of those awards is Phil Mushnick. Surprisingly, well, Mushnick's been around longer, but Vaccaro obviously a very good, very lyrical type of writer also. And he says, don't discount Mahomes. I mean, when is Mahomes an underdog? And Mahomes, as if he had an ankle transplant, is out there practicing like there was nothing wrong.
There's nothing. His ankle sprain supposedly, and there's nothing. He's not wearing a brace. He's walking fine. There's not even a limp. Like, what the hell?
Can you take a shot on that? I mean,
100%. Yep.
One shot of cortisone, and you're feeling pretty good about things.
Would they do it this early? Like, isn't that something you would want to do closer to the game? Like, are they
right at the game? Yeah, you would want it to heal up as much as it could. And then I don't know how dangerous is that to mask that kind of pain if you have an ankle injury.
I don't know. Do sprains get worse? I mean, I guess a sprain could turn into a break. I don't know.
If you can manage the pain, I mean, you can limp around and do whatever, right? Kind of like I'm doing on my walk of life right now with the broken toe.
Yep,
I mean, if you can manage the pain a little bit, not that I'm any brave soul or anything, but it isn't overwhelming. There it is, 5-2. Wait a minute.
You already win. You already won. What do you care? She's not winning the match.
Over, yeah. Well, no, but I'm rooting for Sabalenka. I kind of like the way she plays. So, she's been looking for a breakthrough. And, you don't like to see somebody that always melts down in the clutch. Who did she lose to? She was in the semifinals. I think she lost to Leylah Fernandez or either Fernandez or Raducanu in that U.S. Open when she made the semifinals. And you thought, wow, I mean, here's her opportunity to break through, finally win a Grand Slam. Aryna Sabalenka. Big girl, I mean, extremely well put together, 6 foot, monster of a hitter, and probably should be dominating women's tennis right now, but hasn't been able to do it because, for whatever reason, it's the old Tony Segreto thing. In the moment, she's had meltdowns. I mean, just extreme meltdowns. All right, 30 all here, and she's trying to close it out, but the over is accomplished, and there's my new game. And that is betting tennis. All right, your game is the Hialeah Park Trivia Challenge. How's Gurgs looking? Is he around?
He's joining shortly, I think. He
okay.
Didn't get the link, so I sent it again.
All right, good. And we'll get that underway. Dial us up if you want to play. You could be the first one on board at 954-417-0070, 954-417-0070. There was very little talk yesterday, Lubie, about the Scott Rowland thing. I just don't see it. How is that guy a Hall of Famer?
Because they don't have anyone else.
Those aren't Hall of Fame numbers to me. I just aren't. And you don't think, wow, the great third baseman of all time. Well, he's very good. I mean, look, high end, no doubt. Maybe right at the top of the list of guys that didn't make it to the Hall of Fame. But really, I mean, 280, 300 home runs, had a bunch of RBIs. I think like 1,200, something like that. That's significant, but he was also around. Like what was he playing? 17 years. Sabalenka wins it, and she moved on to the final. You would be able to hedge off there on the final there. I think her odds were more than 5-1 to win this thing, something like that. Swiatek obviously would have been the favorite, but she got knocked out. And this Rybakina is not going to be easy for Sabalenka, but I mean, you get there's a theme there about Russian players. Although Rybakina kind of dodged the whole Russian thing. That's how she got into Wimbledon by I think she rented an apartment for a half hour in Belarus. Therefore, wasn't banned from Wimbledon when they were doing that thing. And I don't know how impactful that was to ban the Russian athletes from international events. I don't know. Is that really doing anything? Because it seems to me like with all of this talk, I mean, here's my analysis on the war in Ukraine, that if Russia just decided to stop bombing the Ukraine and pulled all their troops out, that war would be over.
Yes.
It isn't like the Ukraine is putting, any pressure on Russia to stay engaged in battle.
It's want to survive. It's all. That's what it's been the whole time. Is they just want to live.
Yeah, I don't know how they're doing it, man. That story is not getting as much attention as it probably should, even though it's getting worldwide attention. But it seems like it's almost like these mass shootings where we just come to accept. Hey, look, they're another group, a small group of freezing Ukrainian soldiers, or not even soldiers, guys that just decided to go to out there and protect their territory, and they're standing in front of like 6 bombed out buildings, and thinking, yep, we're going to win this thing. And and they have slingshots while the Russians are coming in there, with tanks and all kinds of military firepower. But now we're sending stuff over there. I don't know. Is that going to do any good? Because obviously this thing would end tomorrow if Putin said, "Hey, look, enough. We've killed enough innocent people, and this isn't accomplishing it." What is it that they're trying to accomplish there? By the way, do we know?
I don't know. They're trying to move. Is it west? Are they west of Russia? I don't know. I don't know what he's doing. I've never understood the point of this thing on any level. Never got it. And the fact it's been like a year or more now.
Yeah, I mean, it's going on for a long time.
They haven't gained in a while too. Like they've done a really good job, Ukraine, of holding them off. So at some point, most leaders would have just said, "Screw it." He is a dictator, so he doesn't have to.
Unbelievable, yeah. I mean, that continues to go on, and we just kind of again, it's like okay, yeah, that's what's happening there. Sabalenka, by the way, 20-0 in sets this year, 10-0 in matches. She won the Prelude tournament to the Australian Open, and now has a shot to win her first ever Grand Slam event. So, and seems like a very pleasant sort. On the court, she almost seems like a tortured genius. And then in any other situation that you see her, being interviewed or speaking about her game, seems fine. So, not one of these, high and mighty types like, Serena. Where if she lost a match, it was like, yeah, well, the officials, it was this, it was that. Not once would she say, "Hey, good job by my opponent, man. Played a tough match tonight." All right. Speaking of playing a tough match, let's get to the Hialeah Park Trivia Challenge. There's Dave Gurggles Gergely, and Gurggles, how are you, my friend?
Doing wonderful. Getting ready for this Saturday's Pegasus, and for all of you horse players that can't come up with 125 general admission, went to Hialeah Park. I paid $5, and I've got my own carousel for Saturday.
So very nice, man. Yeah, no, you love that, man. A private booth thing. Now, are you going to be in the tournament on Sunday?
No, I will not. I'll be home watching the Eagles. I got a golf group coming Sunday morning that I have to deal with, and then after that, I'll be home watching my Eagles and 49ers.
Do you have a bet on the Eagles, a preseason bet? Did you put a stick on the Eagles to win it all?
No.
I don't know what you could have gotten on a price on that. Probably decent.
I don't know. I would guess maybe 20, 25 to 1. Probably.
You think they were that far out? I don't know if they were that big.
I don't know.
Could have been. I mean, I would think at least double digits on the Eagles. They weren't necessarily, among the preseason favorites to win it all. And I think they're in there with a real chance. I mean, look, I believe that at home they will be too tough for the 49ers. I don't know what you think about that. And Brock Purdy is due to maybe make one of those plays. One of those plays that's been coming close to, doing in the 49ers, I think is actually going to occur this time. And Philadelphia is going to take a little advantage of this guy. I could be dead wrong, but the Eagles annihilating the Giants, what was an eye-opener for me. I don't know about you, Gurggles.
Yeah, I was scared of the Giants, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
And when I was at the races last Saturday, I was surrounded by 5 Giants fans. And I told them, man, I'm really scared. But I should have said, how about I give you just 24 points and we'll play for 100. But I didn't.
Yeah, that would have been good. Yeah, 38-7. I mean, it just kept drawing away. The Giants never raised a gallop in that game. Any thought on the other game, Cincinnati and the Chiefs?
I'm rooting for the Bengals just because they've been there so many times. I don't know how banged up Mahomes is. That's the big question mark, I guess, in everybody. But I understand the line did go from Cincinnati favored to now Kansas City favored.
Well, it started out KC was favored. Then Cincinnati. The last one I saw was Cincinnati 1-point favorite over Kansas City. And then I did see where in some circles it was pick'em. That the money started coming back in after Kansas City lost their position as the favorite in the game. What, you have Cincinnati 1-point favorite? Yeah, that's the last line that I saw. So, and I saw somebody on TV, one of these young female handicappers that, you have no idea what her credentials were prior to the fact that she was, deemed to be good looking and that they needed somebody to, encourage people to bet. And she was saying that there was no way that she would lay the point. She was going to play the money line if she was going to play Cincinnati. I'm like, well,
How
The
stupid
worst
is
that
that?
can happen if
Yeah.
you're not playing the money line, is that
You
you push if they win by a point.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'm willing to accept that one. I mean, I don't know that I go money line over just
What
laying
is
a
the
point.
money line when you're like? Is that even a difference? How much of a difference in a bet is it?
Instead of 110 to win 100, maybe you only have to, you get even money or something on like that. But unbelievable. Yeah. I mean, would you really take that into consideration? This was her expert opinion.
No,
Stupid.
no,
Yeah.
not at all.
That's
1
stupid.
point doesn't mean anything, like you said, unless it occurs as a push. Yeah.
Even the
would-
Eagles 2 and
But
a
I
half.
did.
Like, I mean, they should win by 3. Like
You're
2
talking to a guy
Well,
that
that
just bet
did-
the total in a tennis match, though. Total number of
That's
games
okay.
in a tennis
All right.
match.
Yeah.
What do you got?
Sure.
Visitors? Oh, very nice.
This isn't
Yeah,
off.
yeah. That's Mike Taylor. He's bringing in my clothes for the next week. It's my valet.
There you
I
go.
like that. He hangs it up there. I mean, it's just like you're in the jocks room at Gulfstream Park. You got Victor Sanchez saying, here's a suit. All right, the handicapping tournament, though, you have the details on it, Gergs. It's going to be a good one, and it's
Yeah.
coming up Sunday. Still a chance to get in, right?
Absolutely. You can go online, hialeahpark.com, log down there and pay with a credit card. You can actually get in as late as Sunday morning, cash or credit card. I saw a little note from Andy, and he's right. The total is 500, but 200 goes towards the food, the prizes, everything else.
Yeah.
The other 300 is actually your live bankroll. So even if you finish out of the top 3 players and you end up with having 260 left or 560, that cash is all yours.
Yeah.
So it's a terrific deal. They treat you great. The food is great over there as well, and it's I wouldn't miss it. The gates open, by the way, I think 10 o'clock Saturday, but also 10 o'clock on Sunday, even though first post isn't until 12:50 and or 12:40. And all you do is bet Aqueduct and Gulfstream. That's it. And win, place, and
Now, is
show
it win and
bets only.
place? Win, place, and show?
Win, place, and show. Yep.
Okay.
I think you have to make 9 $20 bets total.
Okay, and can you get bet more if you want? I would imagine
You can bet 100. You don't have to bet 20. You can bet any amount, but you have to make 9 bets, and they're win, place, and show bets. That's it.
Okay, all right. A very fair way of
Easy.
deciphering
Real
who the
easy,
better
yep.
handicapper is. And, like we said, I mean, one of the things they try to do in these tournaments by not having exotics is avoid somebody just boxing the biggest long shots in the last race after
Sure.
busting out
Yep.
the entire time, not picking a single winner. And then by circumstance and luck, that comes in, pays 15,000, and they end up winning the tournament. Which
Right. And just so there's no confusion, Saturday is not part of the tournament. That's the Pegasus day that you can bet at Hialeah. The
Yeah.
tournament is Sunday only. So Andy had a little question about that. It's Sunday only, but I would go Saturday, get
Yeah.
used to it, find where you like to sit, and why not bet the Pegasus and get Sunday's form while you're there and study.
Well, and as much as we love the people at Gulfstream Park, we'll be out there tomorrow. We've always
We
had
do. We do.
good relations with both places. But to tell you the truth, as a
Absolutely.
horse player,
Oh,
I'm not really inclined to go and pay a big number to get into a racetrack. I mean, if it's your
Right.
thing, that's great, and there'll be a big crowd out there. But
Yes.
I would much prefer just sliding in for free. And paying $5 like you are to get your own carousel there for
Yeah.
Pegasus Day. Who do you like in
Yeah,
that race? Have
and-
you looked at it, Gergs?
I don't. I have a Perdomo horse, but it's in a turf race before the big race. Because
Okay.
I'm not a dirt guy. I'm a turf guy. But I'll give it out a little during the show. But I love Gulfstream as well. I go to Gulfstream all the time, and it's going to be a spectacle. It's great to be a part of that. If you're just a regular folk who wants to see a great event and you want to pay the $1.25, go ahead. But look, we got 2 choices. That's what makes this country great.
Well, and $1.25, as most degenerates would know, would be much more favorable right in my pocket. Because that was one of the great things about the transition in racetracks is you used to have to pay to park, you had to pay to get in.
Yeah.
If you were going to stay in the clubhouse there, you had to pay extra for that. And then remember when you used to like rent a pair of binoculars coming in, and then you had the coat and hat guy. That was, that's a tradition that is long since gone. But and you have to pay for that. And then next thing you got a scratch sheet and a form, and you're thinking, wow, I'm already out $20, which back in the day was a significant portion of what your bankroll might have been for the afternoon. But now, just walk right in there. So I'm used to that. And I'm not a big fan of paying fees, to get into events.
Well, you're spoiled. Like if
Yeah.
you're used to not paying ever, and then
that's true too.
Thing, it's fine. Look, South Florida's about big events. Gulfstream does a great job with it, but you guys go weekly. Like you're not, you know, like
Shouldn't you have
Is
a
that-
punch
uh,
card?
is
And
that-
if you're there every day like a regular, shouldn't they just give you a
Exactly,
free
like
pass
Subway.
into the big events?
when you
Maybe they
say
don't want Larry
weeklies,
the
that's
Leaper
spelled-
hanging on to like Flo Rida when he
Oh,
comes in. What do you think, Kirk?
when you say weekly, Mike, is that WEAKLY? Are you talking about our handicapping, or
Depends on
I see what you mean? Okay, yeah.
All right. We're going to get to, I mean, I have to put 20 on Skippy Longstocking in honor of my dog, Skippy.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
Skipster says he can run a little bit. Skippy has a little bit of, I mean, it's like animal intuition, and he likes Skippy Longstocking. But I'm not sure that that's going to be the horse. So we were going to go with the political exacta of riding with Biden and defunded. But I'm not sure that that's going to be a factor. Everybody makes a face when you say riding with Biden because it's like you were talking about Hunter Biden. I mean, everybody just immediately makes a face. But a lot of people like that defunded horse. And is that going to be ridden by the great Frankie Dettori? In what is
Yeah,
it, his swan song season?
He was there yesterday.
Yeah.
Had some mounts.
I saw him.
I
He lost a
think
three-way
he
shake
doesn't-
for a win in one race. And then who is this monster that Pletcher ran that now has been out 2 times? I think he won the 8th race yesterday.
Yes.
Which must have been the feature.
I read the name of it, but I forget it off the top of my head.
Man.
But there was, I looked at the entries, and after Gulfstream or after Laurel, one of the two where they went to South America, there was a horse called Lubo's Law. And I saw it, and I was gonna make a bet, but I figured, nah, anything like that's got to be a loser.
All right. Well, don't forget. I mean, you can still enter the handicapping tournament there at Hialeah Park. That's going to be a nice way to spend a Sunday. And the winner's off to Las Vegas, which I'm telling you, Gurgs, it was one of the best times I ever had just riding shotgun on that trip with Evan, who won the tournament, and Jersey Kyle. And those guys took advantage of the freebie accommodations. They each got a room and airfare for 2. And I just paid my way in there, got myself a little comp there at Bally's, and had a great time. The tournament is a gas to be a part of. It would really be something to be in contention there in the NHC. And even if you're not, you're still betting horses all day and hanging out with people and having nothing but fun out there in Las Vegas, Nevada. All right, we're coming back with the Hialeah Park Trivia Challenge. Jump on board if you want to play. 954-417-0070. And following Dave Gurggles Gergely, somewhere around, I believe, 8:20 this morning, the lovely and talented Lesley Visser is going to join us. So that's always special.
All right.
And then Jim Larranaga, talking baskets with Jim Larranaga at about 8:45. So action-packed here. Tomorrow we'll have a Degenerate Friday. And also tomorrow we'll be out at Gulfstream with Mike Mayo for Mike Mayo's Lunchbox, which also airs today at 12 o'clock. How was Mayo yesterday? You put food in front of Mayo, he does a better job, I think, than if he's just at home, like scratching his head.
I don't know what it is, but yes, out and about, he's a very different person. And I don't get it. It's the same. Wherever we are, out and about, it's more hectic. But once we're on air, we're doing a show. Like, for some reason with him, he's so more focused when, like, there's people around.
Yeah. I don't know what it is. Yeah. Even when he's shoveling, what was it yesterday? Bang, bang shrimp in his face. Still seems a little bit more focused. All right. We're coming back with Gurgs and the Hialeah Park Trivia Challenge. And that's going to get underway in a moment. Now that.
The time.
It's 7:38. Ponies in Style at Champions, the outstanding simulcasting room at beautiful Hialeah Park. Yes, the grand old lady of thoroughbred racing has never been more vibrant, and you can wager on the races from the top tracks around the country while enjoying a cocktail at the Brass Rail Bar or any of the fine food served throughout the facility. If poker is your game, you're covered in style, and you can play all your favorite Vegas-style games, including blackjack, craps, and roulette, in Hialeah Park's sizzling hot casino. Get a player's card when you walk through the door for all kinds of generous amenities, including our favorite, free play, when you come out to the ultimate casino and entertainment destination, Hialeah Park.
Hey folks, Tony Segreto here. You know, since day one, Catholic Health Services has been part of Old School. And since we've started letting people know about them, it's changed their lives. You see, Catholic Health Services, while being recognized as one of the top places for stroke rehab in the country, it's also about a group of people who not just excel in what they do, from the doctors to the nurses to the therapist, on and on and on. It's how they do what they do every single day that separates them from the pack. They do it with a passion, unmatched, and the inclusion of family in every step of the process. Trust me when I tell you this. If you want the best, unmatched rehab with a special group of skilled, caring people, there is truly only one place, and that one place is Catholic Health Services.
These days, we're all looking for comfort anywhere we can find it. Thank goodness for Landlubbers Raw Bar and Grill in the Plantation location, because they are making sure you are as comfortable as possible. First of all, they're not only open for delivery and pickup All you have to do is go to landlubbersbarandgrill.com for both pickup and free delivery. Their hours have changed a little bit. Monday through Thursday from 3:30 to 10, and Friday, Saturday, and Sunday from 11:30 to 10. You're going to have the best wings in the world. You're going to have a great burger. You're going to have their amazing soups. Again, Landlubbers, Raw Bar and Grill. It's nice and easy. Just go to landlubbersbarandgrill.com for both your pickup and free delivery. Thank goodness for Landlubbers for making you always feel right at home.
Oh, Solo Volante will be coming late. Oh, Solo Volante, the Belmont's now 1.8 miles. The finish line is coming up quick. Luca Panici just switched the stick.
The only way the morning started is with Defo, joined by Lubie, right here on the Defo Show.
All right, welcome back to the show. The Hialeah Park Trivia Challenge about to get underway. Then later on, Lesley Visser joins us here, and the great Jim Larranaga will be on the program as well tomorrow, a Degenerate Friday with all of our handicappers, and we'll dive into those two conference championship games, which both loom as very tough propositions. You can go to any number of places, start a conversation, ask people who they like, and get however many extrapolations there are of the variations that could occur. I happen to like Philadelphia and the Bengals, although not certain about either of those. I would be more sure of Philadelphia, I think, beating San Francisco. So if I were you, in our listening and viewing audience, unload on the 49ers. Lubie's picked to win it all since midseason.
Don't jinx my Phillies.
Unload on the 49ers. All right, Gurgs, you ready to go? Here's a trivia question that's been floating out there. And I don't know this person's first name, and I should. But this Michaela Schifrin, this is in honor of Jim Sarney, one of our big fans and the quasi-producer of the program here. He's influenced us so heavily that we were even booking guests based on his suggestions now. Guys that we maybe never would have even thought to have on the show, like this Dusty May, who we had on yesterday, the coach at FAU. Has like an 18-game winning streak working. Nice story. Right. But Michaela Schifrin just broke this record of Lindsey Vonn for the most World Cup victories in skiing. And the question is, who holds the all-time record? She's like 3 away now from the all-time record, men's and women's World Cup championships. And I'm floating that out there. If anybody knows the answer to that, go ahead and fire it up there. Because, it's one of those things that's annoying, I guess, about not having the thorough editing that newspaper articles used to get, right? Where you would submit an article and then somebody else read it and they would go, wait a minute, Defo, you left out where they played. And now it's not uncommon for people to reference a record and then never say who holds the record.
Yes.
That bothers me. Yes, extrememely.
Right.
Yep. Weird.
Right? I mean, they're saying, okay, she's 3 away from the record, so who the hell has the record?
Yeah, who has a record?
Jan Stenerud? I don't know. Who the hell's a skier? Give me some. Jean-Claude Keely. All right, but there is a guy out there that holds the record for the all-time number of World Cup championships, and if you know that, it's worth a half a point, even if you're not playing the game. All right, here we go. Dave Gurggles Gergely, the Hialeah Park Trivia Challenge, a Landlubbers gift certificate at stake. You heard from the Polyman with the Sole Volante, and it ran recently at Gulfstream Park, but as I recall, non-menacing fourth, something like that, I believe. So not the same horse he was when they thought he could win the Belmont under Luca Panici. That didn't happen. And in honor of the Polyman, we start the game out in a somewhat traditional fashion with Dave Gurggles Gergely and some
easy baseball. This former Phillies manager, doing his best Polyman impression, responding to a reporter after a tough loss, said, "Hey, even Napoleon had his Watergate." What's that? Danny Ozark, Danny Cater, Ralph Nader, or Sven Nader?
All right, the scrambler, Lubie, and step on it. Here we go. Look at that. Mike. You're on the Hialeah Park Trivia Challenge. Good morning, Mike.
Hey, good morning, A.
A is correct. Right on the money. Good players again, starting us out.
Hold on, Mike. True or false? Horse racing, Mike. Gulfstream Park's female jockey Chantel Sutherland, according to Turf magazine, has been linked romantically to Gulfstream's famed track announcer Pete Aiello. True or false?
Well, Andy will be pissed. He loves her.
How about true?
No.
Pete's happily involved with the lovely Lindsay. and has been for some
Yeah.
time. And I think they're very much in love, by the way. And,
Good.
and I'm happy for Pete.
Good.
Pete was a Frankie Fiore discovery. And I
he's a
worked with
super
Pete
guy.
on a bunch of stuff at Hialeah Park. We were
Yeah.
doing, I mean, some television show out there. I think it was airing like in Key West or something. And Pete would come on with me, and we would tape like 4 of them at a time because we had a very low budget for this thing, and was spot on, man. The guy could talk all day. He's absolutely fantastic.
He's a super guy. And
Yeah.
speaking of Chantel Sutherland, her old boyfriend's coming into town this weekend to ride, Mike Smith.
Mike Smith, yeah.
So that'll be kind of interesting.
And
All
she's
right.
riding in some international jockey challenge or something, I think.
She's not here this weekend. I got you.
I don't know if she's
All
here
right,
this weekend, but she's been named into like some all-star jockey event that's taking place somewhere.
Good
All
for
right,
her.
1 for 2 and going for 4.
All right, here we go. Baseball, Mike. One of the worst trades ever occurred when the Reds traded Frank Robinson to the Orioles for 3 players. Which of the following was not one of those 3 Orioles traded for Robinson? Was not Milt Pappas, Jack Balshin, Dick Simpson, or Chico Ruiz?
C.
I'm going to say B.
No, Dick was part of it. No, It was
Chico?
a guy who was famous for saying, "Yep, don't play me or trade me." Chico Ruiz was not
Chico
part
Ruiz,
of that
man,
deal.
the great Chico Ruiz. All right, very good. Good
Yeah.
question. Going for 6 points here, Mike, to set the pace.
All right, Mike. NFL football. When the Eagles won their first championship, it occurred in 1960 when they beat the Packers. Norm Van Brocklin was named co-MVP of the league that year. Who did he share the honor with?
Wow.
Was that Ray Nitschke, Jim Taylor, Sam Huff, or Joe Schmidt?
Wow. Could be anybody.
Nitschke.
Nitschke.
Good guess. No, it was Joe Schmidt of the
Joe
Detroit
Schmidt.
Lions. Back then, I think they had an offensive and a defensive MVP.
All right, you stumped Mike. So he's not dead yet in this game. You're never out of it until such time as we declare that to be the case. So you can dial us up if you want to play. 954-417-0070. 954-417-0070. Dave Gurggles Gergely with us. The Hialeah Park Trivia Challenge on the Defo Show. Later on, the lovely and talented Lesley Visser. And, I mean, you talk about alliteration with the L's there, to the great Jim Larranaga. Also, so Lesley and Larranaga going to combine to close out the program today. Then on our podcast, I mean, this guy's been brilliant. He's been picking winners right and left. Brandon Lang of 2 for the Money fame. That'll be on the Believe Network. That drops about 11 o'clock. And we'll have Brandon Lang on our usual Thursday session where he'll handicap and give us some insight into these 2 football games, no doubt. And maybe even sprinkle in a little college basketball. Gurggles, toss that in as well. All right, 417-0070, 954-417-0070, the phone number to call. And let's get into our next set of questions here on the Hialeah Park Trivia Challenge with the great Dave Gurggles Gergely.
Boxing. This late comedian on the State of Boxing said, the new heavyweight champion, Hassan Rahman, took over as champion, and he took a vow of poverty. It's not because of his religion. It's because he signed with Don King. What's that? Don Rickles, Don Larson, Don Wilson, or Don Diego de la Vega?
Hasim the Rockman. Unbelievable. He was a guy that had the double head when Holyfield headbutted him the entire fight that time. Remember? And he grew like a second head. It was crazy. Knocked out Lennox Lewis in a surprise in South Africa when Lennox was training on geisha girls like Mike Tyson did for the Buster Douglas fight. All right, Ron. The scrambler lands on Ron. You're on the Hialeah Park Trivia Challenge.
Good morning, fellas. Let's go with A.
Correct again.
Good job, sir.
Another good start.
All right, Ron, I think you'll like this one. Golf, true or false? Donald Trump allegedly won his club's golf tournament championship despite being 100 miles away for a funeral. What happened is the 76-year-old was not present on Saturday when members played their 18 holes, but he said he had a great round on Thursday and counted that as the winner. True or false?
That sounds like Trump. Let's go true.
True? Yes.
That is. He said, yeah, he shot a great round Thursday, so I'm the champ. He
There's nothing
Yeah.
found himself his
He
own
was
club
also
champion.
teamed up in a scramble with George Santos. and they shattered the record for an 18-hole scramble at 46. Incredible.
And,
All right, 2 for 2, Ronnie.
you know what?
Going for 5. Yeah.
He played with that male-female one, too. I think Rosie Ruiz was his partner in that.
Not Chico, Rosie.
No, not Chico.
Two of our favorite Ruizes referenced
Ron.
on the program here, Chico and Rosie. That's very unusual.
All right, Ron, three-pointer, baseball. 1956, Don Larson's perfect game in the World Series had the largest attendance ever of 65,519 for a perfect game. Which pitcher's perfect game had the lowest attendance, only 6,200 fans?
Wow.
Was that Felix Hernandez, Matt Cain, Phil Humphrey, or Catfish Hunter?
Wow.
Let's go B.
B.
Hey, right.
I think it has to be Phil Humphrey. I mean, no.
No, it was Catfish Hunter
Really?
in 1998 versus the Twins. How about that one?
Well, where was he playing? With the A's?
Wow.
Or,
At Minnesota, yeah. But it was
with the Yankees,
Minnesota.
maybe? Okay,
Yeah.
At Minnesota. Okay, that makes
might
sense.
have been.
Yeah. I don't know why I was thinking home crowds on that. Then who was Pat Humphrey? Is he one of your friends?
No, it's an old
game?
question. I can't read
Okay.
it. All right. Hockey. 5-point question in hockey. Which of the following NHL teams played the most playoff games in the decade of the 90s? New Jersey
one that
Devils,
it wasn't. Yeah. Okay.
Detroit Red Wings, St. Louis Blues, or Pittsburgh Penguins?
Let's go Pittsburgh Penguins.
Well,
boy, Ron.
Very good.
Thought you might get that one. Well done.
Ronnie boy comes up with a nice 7 total there. So that's going to put him in first place, setting a pace here. Dial us up if you want to play, 954-417-0070. Play a couple more here. Lesley Visser going to join us about 8:20. And then somewhere around 8:45, we're going to connect with Jim Larranaga, the UM head basketball coach. I do want to, I'm wondering, probably should look up the chronology on this, but which of those New York point gods that Larranaga would be most familiar with as a competitor? That goes back away, his playing days. We're talking about Larranaga would have been playing ball there in the late 60s, early 70s. So, and that's at Rucker Park when it was at the height. When you would have like Kareem Abdul-Jabbar show up there to play a couple of games of half court. That was great. So we'll get into that a little bit with Jim Larranaga. Also, just walloped. Lubie, you may want to sit out that segment. Just walloped Florida State, but with a very, very impressive performance. And they're in the mix there. They're like 60-1 to win the national championship.
Oh, really?
I don't know that I see them as a national championship team. I don't know that I want to apply that to Jim when he comes on the show. We'll say naturally you're going all the way, but wide open. I mean, college basketball about as wide open as you could possibly get to win the title this year.
I mean, they're tied for third in the ACC. They're 16-4. They're a top 15-20 team, and they were in the 8 last year. I mean, they should have a great chance. It's wide open this year. Gonzaga's in, Duke's in, Kentucky's in.
No real powerhouse.
And I think that was the largest margin of victory between those two teams on the other team's court ever.
Yeah, it was a road game. Yeah, it was at FSU. Yep.
Yeah,
I was
Miami and
thinking
FSU,
if Kevin Norris could have shot the ball from deep like Nigel Pack, Leonard Hamilton might still be coaching here. Even though it was one of the most entertaining things I've done in the business was following this college basketball team for a couple of years. It really was like 2 seasons on the brink. I mean, every day it was like you were wondering when they were going to give the axe to Leonard Hamilton. And I remember a very stone-faced Paul D coming to a meeting in some a really rinky-dink town that the Canes were playing a game in. And it was like one bar in the whole place. And Paul D walks in, and I thought, wow, this is it, man. Because he had a powwow there with Leonard. And, we weren't sure if Leonard was going to be around the next day, but he got the vote of confidence.
Turned it around.
Yeah. And then eventually went to the pros out of that. Can you imagine?
Yeah, Washington.
Forget that he was, coaching Washington with Michael Jordan. All right, coming back with more of the Trivia Challenge. We have a leader here, Ron, in the clubhouse with 7 new players. Welcome at 954-417-0070. Perdomo Cigars, Gurgs, always a hit.
Yeah. You're not kidding. Perdomo Cigars, 305-627-6700, the number to call. 5150 Northwest 167th Street, the place to go. Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 6 p.m., right off the Palmetto, just a little bit east of Home Depot, and on the south side, you'll see the big Perdomo cigar sign. And there I am. You don't have to go all the way to Valdivia to enjoy a great cigar. Go right here in the Miami Lakes area at Perdomo Cigars. Once again, 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday through Friday. Go away to say to Nick Jr., Lauren, the whole family's working there. It is a family business. Cuban seed tobacco, they make them perfect one at a time, ladies and gentlemen. And this weekend, if you're going to Hialeah like I am, to bet the Pegasus, on that day, third race, the 2-horse Red Hornet, ridden by a guy who doesn't have a lot of wins, but I think can get up in time on this one, Sean Bridgmahan. So when Red Hornet crossed the finish line first in the third race on Pegasus Day, put something great in your mouth with a cigar from Perdomo Cigar.
Wow, I remember when Sean Bridgmahan was like the hotshot new rider here on the circuit.
Yeah.
How many years ago was that? That had to be like, has he been around like 30 years or something?
Long time. Yeah, at least 20, I think, yeah.
Congratulations, too, to Tyler Gaffalione on getting my 2,000 victories. Because,
Yes.
we both go way back to like Robert Gaffalione. His grandfather used to ride down here.
And congratulations to Junior Alvarado, who got his 2,000th victory on the last leg of the pick 5 that me and 2 partners hit.
Ooh.
Oh,
And
nice.
that paid, we said not the pick 6, pick 5, but still it paid $880, and we had
nice
4 out of 5 10 times. That paid 12, so we got 1,000. We split 3 ways.
That's
And
a nice
Junior
one.
Alvarado cinched it on Jimmy Jerkin's horse. That was last Saturday. I remember it well.
Nice. Good job, Gertz.
It's a nice consideration, too, the 4 out of 5 payoff.
Yeah, something.
Yeah.
Because, I would think it would tempt more people to, pour money into the pool. That, you at least have the chance of a consolation. And you know how frustrating it is, right? You missed that one leg and you left out, some horse that everybody was touting. And you're thinking, yeah, you know what? Go bleep yourself. I'm going to bet my own numbers here. And then sure enough,
well, we had
like a Matt
we
Carruthers
just had 3
special
guys, so we each picked a horse in each race. So we had 3 by 3 by 3, etc., all 5 times. So when you hit all 5, you get all the other horses as 4 out of 5. So we had 10 times $12. Now, if you only have 4 out of 5, you only get the horses that you missed in the one leg. So if you have 4 out of 5 and you have 3 alive and they don't win, you get 3 4 out of 5. So it's a significant difference. Yep.
Boy, I'll tell you what, we all would have gone to Harvard if they had the degenerate SATs, right? Tell me that isn't an 800 on the math right there that Gurggles just laid out.
You're not kidding.
All right, coming back with more of the Hialeah Park Trivia Challenge. We'll decide a winner, and just moments away, too, we'll have Lesley Visser, Jim Larranaga with us on the show in the second hour of the program. Our podcast today on Believe, Brandon Lang, outstanding handicapper, 2 for the Money fame, and then tomorrow, full-blown Degenerate Friday with the professor and the big board and Mark Lawrence, and a lot of people giving you insight into what may or may not transpire over the weekend, which is another one. I mean, the NFL, you have to give them credit. Nobody knows, right? Had good matchups all the way through, and these 2 games very much, up in the air as to who's going to come out on top. Back with more in a moment. Now that.
The time.
7:58.
Folks, Tony Segreto here. Let me ask you a question. What do you look for when you go out to eat? Good food, obviously. Friendly atmosphere, not too loud, but good energy, reasonable prices, and a place where you feel comfortable. All those ingredients, no pun meant there, are hard to find unless you're talking about the Texas Roadhouse. You see, they encompass all of those attributes. Really, really good food, amazing atmosphere, good for a family, good for a date, or just a night out for yourself, and prices that will make you extremely happy. Their ribs, unmatched. Steaks, hand-cut every day. Everything, and I mean everything, is made on site, including their incredible bread. It's the one day, folks, that you can forget about low-carb diets. Trust me when I tell you, Texas Roadhouse, your restaurant, your destination when you say, where should we go and eat tonight?
From the newly renovated sports bar to the beautiful bayside views captured at the Tiki Bar, Jimmy Johnson's Big Chill has it all. Located at mile marker 104, the Big Chill also offers waterfront dining while experiencing breathtaking sunset views of the Florida Keys. It's simply the hottest spot in the Keys to cool off. That's Jimmy Johnson's Big Chill at mile marker 104 in Key Largo. For more information, call today at 305-453-9066.
People don't like being lied to. That's always the thing. With Pete Rose, If he had just said, "Of course I bet the Reds. What are you talking about? I had money on every game." We know you did, Pete. It's all right. I mean, now it'd be accepted. In fact, they would have. It's only a matter of time before the manager of the two teams is asked who he likes in the game. All right, we're going down on the field there. We got Tony La Russa. Tony, what do you think tonight? White Sox minus 135? Well, we're going to go to the pen right away, and I'm going to make like 7 righty-lefty switches at inappropriate times. And I'm going to wear out my bullpen. In fact, all of these guys worked in the game last night. So I would think this. I would take the points, take the runs, and take the price on the Boston Red Sox tonight to beat us. I would not lay 135 to win 100 on the Chicago White Sox. Okay, thanks, Tony. Let's go to Alex Cora. Cora, what do you got? Well, we got all our heavy hitters at the beginning of the lineup tonight, and they really found this White Sox pitcher the last time he was out there. So I would think that we're a good bet, money line, straight up. When's that going to happen? I mean, that's going to be part of the pregame shows now.
Enjoy your trip to work with lots of laughs thanks to Defo and Lubie. Now on the Defo Show.
All right, in the stretch here on the Hialeah Park Trivia Challenge, don't forget about the handicapping championship on Sunday. Still time to get in. Andy's thinking about it, getting in. Real good event. I mean, you're in there with a shot. It doesn't necessarily even have to cost you any money because you got your live bankroll there. And, if you come up a winner or even slightly so, you're getting that money back plus. And then, the money that goes to the prize fund, if you pick that up, I think, Evan picked up, somewhere $3,000 to $5,000 in prize money that time, and airfare and accommodations for two hotel rooms at Bally's where they're having the NHC. And I think that goes towards the middle or end of February. And it's just a great, great time. So you're in there with handicappers and a chance to win like $800,000. So check that out, HialeahPark.com, and you get the entry fee or just get down there Sunday early. And I would imagine they'll be taking some late entries. Knowing Frankie, man, he'll have this thing well in hand, and it'll be like just to run like a perfect, well-oiled machine, my friend, like Secretariat in the Belmont Stakes, up 31 lengths and under wraps. All right, we're going to conclude the game, the Hialeah Park Trivia Challenge. We're trying to get in as many as we can before we get to the television time limit, as they call it, like they did in Championship Wrestling from Florida. Always my favorite consideration in sports, television time limit to end the match. And so we're up against that, and we want to get in as many as we can, so we go right to Dave Gurggles Gergely for our next set of questions. You can jump on board at 954-417-0070.
College hoops. This sports writer discussing college basketball with his wife remembered, when I told my wife UConn would win the Big East, she wanted to know how a team from Alaska got in the Big East tournament. What's that? Vic Siegel, Bugsy Malone, or Muggsy Bogues?
Rolling the scrambler here. It's Mike Lubie Lubitz. And the aforementioned Andy. Andy, you're on the Hialeah Park Trivia Challenge. Hello.
Contest, don't mention my name, right? I'll go with A.
Horrible telephone connection here with Andy. So we'll hold off on that and see if we can get him back. You can dial us up at 954-417-0070. 954-417-0070. Is that digital thing that happens? Like, sometimes you'll get a radio station and, the whole thing comes out like that, like you're trying to listen to a Dolphin game and they mess that up and you're asking yourself, and you keep listening thinking it's going to correct itself. And it never does. That's, always ugliness. Would happen every now and then. Yeah.
We were on 3 of those stations, I think, ourselves.
We did bounce around, man, but we always, what was great about this game is the people always found us like right away. We could be on like some obscure radio station, most of which were owned and operated by Steve Lappa. But, as far down the dial as like 1470, and they would still find us. All right, Andy, are you with us? Better connection, I hope?
Yeah, hold on. I think it's my ankle bracelet. When the thing beeps.
That can be a problem, no doubt about it. All right, now you have 1 point. You're in the game.
You certainly got someone who can commiserate with you, Andy. That's for sure. All right. Anyway,
I like when they switched that thing to a wristwatch, and then you would just like consult the time. Made a lot, easier.
Football, true or false, Andy? You'll get a kick out of this one. A Bengals fan named Cameron Craig just had a $5 free bet turn into $72,795 last weekend when his parlay wager on 4 players to score the first touchdown in all 4 division round games were winners.
Wow.
Travis Kelce, Dallas Goedert, Jamar Chase, and Dalton Schultz. $5 turned in almost $73,000 for them. True or false?
I got to go with true. If it's not true,
Wow.
you work.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's a lot of work.
It's true, Andy. It's true. What a weekend for that guy. God bless him.
Unbelievable. Yeah. That's the kind of guy that wins that, though. The guy that's getting the free $5 wager, and that was going to be it for his whole bankroll. All right, 2 for 2, Andy, going for 5. It's never us.
All right, college hoops, Andy. Let's give you a college hoops grade. During the 1973-74 season, in which NC State ended UCLA's 7-year run, as a matter of fact, they only lost one game the entire season. Who did they lose that one game to?
Or they lost it to
The aforementioned UCLA,
Yeah.
North Carolina, Georgia Tech, or Notre Dame?
Oh man, it's either UCLA or Notre Dame. I remember this too. I think they lost to UCLA during the season.
I'm going to say Notre Dame. Oh, he got it. Okay.
Yes.
Attaboy, Andy. UCLA.
Good job, Randy, man.
Very
That's
good, my
good.
friend. Andy, gunning for a sweep here. You're currently in second place.
All right, Andy, let's go from college hoops to the NBA. In 1975, when the Golden State Warriors swept the Washington Bullets 4-0 in the playoffs, who was the losing coach that day?
What
Gene
year?
Shue? 1975. Gene Shue,
75.
Wes Unseld, K.C. Jones, or Bob Weiss?
Jesus. No.
I guess it was Shoe, right?
Shoo. No, Bob Weiss.
It was K.C. Jones.
K.C.
Believe it
Jones.
or
Wow,
not.
lost it. All right, good job, Andy. 5 points. You're right there knocking on the door. Try and get another player in before we go to the finals here of this week's edition of the Hialeah Park Trivia Challenge. Handicap tournament coming up at Hialeah Park on Sunday. All kinds of big events. I know they have El Boxeo scheduled in February, so that's going to be a blast, and we'll get down there for that and try and poach a couple of ringside seats off Frank Fiore. And it is absolutely a blast, a great night down there. And I would have to say, because of the great calibration of the machines in their Las Vegas style casino that they have, which is always hopping and always going great, or as the polyman would say, great guns. Mustang has had phenomenal success on our visits to Hialeah Park. And that's always nice, right? I mean, where you go, you have a great time, and then you walk out like up 800, and you're thinking,
Yes.
thank you, Royal Reels, once again. I don't understand the modern-day slot machines. Do you? Gurggles? I mean,
No.
I like the one where you get the free games, although you always lose. I mean, eventually it seems like they're going to grind you down. That's not the case at Hialeah Park. You don't have to anticipate the eventual grind down. So no matter how much you might be up at any stage of the the engagement, you're all of a sudden you're going to walk away with zero. That voucher is going to be like 3 cents. And then you're going to be like most gamblers, even though you just blew 300, you're thinking, they won't give me the 3 cents? Because that's the new thing, right? With the cashing of vouchers. You have to actually go to the window and get your 3 cents, which at that point, I'm out. All right, let's do it. One more, and then we'll go to the finals here. Dave Gurggles Gergely, and of course, Perdomo Cigars will tell you a little bit more about, what a great Valentine's Day gift, right, for the guy in your life. Shouldn't it be in reverse, right, where the women also...
and when we don't
Yeah, that's a one-way street, isn't it? Very sexist.
why is
Valentine's Day.
anniversary and Valentine's only about the woman?
Yeah.
Leave me as a man. You have to gut it out too. Like, I don't understand.
Yeah.
Like, and we can gripe about this another day, but I don't
I
get
mean,
it.
look, how many times in your relationships have you felt like, on any given day you went 12 at De La Hoya?
I thought he-
It's worthy of a box of cigars in return for the chocolates and the flowers and
I'm
dinner
telling
at a
you,
fancy
woman-
place.
You don't expect it ever as a guy. So if you did get something on Valentine's, it would be like the greatest freaking thing. If
Never
she
works that way. No.
got promos on Valentine's, I would be like, good for you.
I guess the most upset I ever made a woman on Valentine's Day was when I did a switcheroo at the St. Valentine's Day Massacre there and left that poor girl in the Bahamas while I made off with somebody else.
That's such a track record.
No wonder I've been married 3 times, Kirk. All right.
There's
Well,
no
you've
one-
met them all. All right. Let's get into our next set of questions here on the Hialeah Park Trivia Challenge.
Oh my God.
All right, this is one of your favorite guys.
She caught the
And he's
next
doing a
day's flight
quarterback.
out. She caught the next flight out. I lied to her about the time. I was already gone.
All right, sports. This boxing and quite frankly, all sports icon on Sports Nickname said, if horse racing is a sport of kings, then drag racing must be the sport of queens.
Oh, wow.
Is that the great
You couldn't get away with that today.
Bell,
No.
Bobby Bell or Walt Bellamy?
We would have never heard of Bert Sugar again if he made that statement today.
Jesus.
All right, the Chronic. Wow, the Chronic at various clinical appointments here. Chronic, how are you, man?
Good morning, guys. I'm calling live from the infusion chair.
Yeah.
I got Emily about to poke me any second now.
This is amazing.
Very nice.
Wow.
All right, you have
We
a
wish
point,
you nothing
though.
but the best.
Yes.
Yep. All right, NFL. Tom, no, I asked that one already, I think. Let's go to a different one here. How about this? All right, baseball. Only 2 players hit over 300 home runs in the decade of the 1980s. Mike Schmidt and Eddie Murray, Dwight Evans, Dave Winfield, or Dale Murphy?
Let's go with Dale Murphy.
Dale Murphy.
Nice.
Correct.
That's exactly right.
Did we do a true false there with
I don't think we did.
I don't think we did the true false there.
He's gonna get it
We
wrong.
didn't do a true false. We'll give him that 3-pointer. I'll do a true or false now.
Throw it out there, yeah.
We tried to trick Lenny up. All right.
Well, you're trying to trick
All
me
right,
up
here's his true-
because you know I'm old. Yeah.
Yeah. Here's his true false question. All right, Lenny, sports. The term kiss of death,
Ooh.
believe it or not, came from stable hand turned jockey Frank Hayes winning on his only mount ever, a horse named Sweet Kiss. And after he crossed the finish line, he suffered a fatal heart attack and died.
Wow.
That's how you got the term kiss of death.
True or false?
False.
I was going to rush some Defo, but I'll go with true.
It says true, and it is
That
true.
is true. That is true. Wow.
Are you being
Hard to believe
wheeled
that.
into an MRI machine?
Into the OR.
Yeah. What the hell? You realize Lenny is sitting on a sweep now, Gurggles, if he gets this one right.
Seriously, of all people,
All right, here we go.
And an automatic
What?
spot in the finals.
he's actually having blood.
I know he loves the ABA.
While he's having blood
So
drawn.
instead, we'll give him an Indy 500 question.
Oh, good.
In what year did the Indy 500 first average 100 miles per hour?
Holy Cale Yarber.
1915, 1925, 1935, or 1945?
Let's go with 1925.
25.
How could he
You
get
got it?
that? How could he get that? Yes.
Gurggles is so
Stay right
pissed.
there, Chronic. Don't go anywhere.
Hang on,
Nice.
crap, man.
Wow.
It's
I mean, you
gonna be
throw like a ridiculous
finals.
Indy
right?
500 mile per hour question at the guy from 1925, and he gets
So
it.
pissed.
Maybe when he's under the influence of, whatever drugs they give you to kind of ease the tension as they're doing all of these massive tests, right? They're poking you in the kidney and all of that. Maybe even doing, things in other areas which are far more sensitive. I always hate that, right? You're not at the urologist, are you, Chronic? The Chronic's on hold here. All right, so we're going to get to the finals. Tell us one more time about Perdomo Cigars, and the finals going to match Ron and the Lenny, the Chronic, for the Landlubbers gift certificate and the championship.
Don't miss it. By Perdomo Cigar, obviously the third race on Saturday, Red Hornet, ridden by Sean Bridgman. But you're a winner anytime you go to Perdomo's. And a matter of fact, for Valentine's Day, even if you're the man in the family, why not buy a box of Perdomo cigars for your wife? She'll look at it and go, "What's this?" He goes, "Oh, I forgot. That was for you, but if you don't like them, I'll smoke them." But Perdomo Cigars, easy to find, 5150 Northwest 167th Street, right off the Palmetto. 305-627-6700, the number to call. Monday through Friday. You go on one on the weekend, you say, "Boy, I missed a good cigar." We sell them right here at Miami Lakes Golf Club, or you can go to any tobacconist near you. And if you're not sure, www.perdomocigars.com. So this weekend, when Red Hornet wins the third race, put something great in your mouth with a cigar from Perdomo Cigar.
All right, very well done, Dave Gurggles Gergely. Lesley Visser coming up, Jim Larranaga coming up on his show, and also the determination of a championship. Lubie may be having trouble getting through to Lenny the Chronic here because he's in an infusion chair. We have had people call in from Russian penal colonies. We've had people calling in while they're being chased by police. All kinds of different situations and circumstances. We've had people pulled over and stopped on the side of the road playing a game. We've had people that we had to send outside the place that we were located to play the game because nobody was on hold. But I don't know that we've ever had anybody, involved in the infusion chair. And if you're trying to get through to somebody in a hospital, Mike Lubie, that may be close to impossible. So if we can't find Lenny, we're going to we'll do the right thing. Like, what would the NFL do in this spot? Would they, hold the championship in a neutral field? have us play against Ron as Lenny? What do
I
you
think
think?
they would charge Lenny a personal seat licensing fee while he's
Yeah.
at the doctor, probably.
Oh, and definitely, overcharge his insurance company to the point where they started to dispute the thing, and then Lenny ended up paying out of his pocket himself. What do you say? Do we scratch it?
It's my phone.
Mike
There's
Leibowitz?
my phone. It's phone. Give me 1 second.
Okay, you might have it going
Okay.
on together here.
All right. Once again, don't forget, go online, hialeahpark.com, find out all the details of the handicapping contest. It's $500, which you usually take to the track anyway. $300 is live money. $200 goes into the prize. They're going to play first, second, and third, and you'll get to keep all your money that you've wagered and won on. So at the end of the day, you may end up with $700-800, even if you're not in the top three with your own money coming back.
Yeah.
Easy. What do you bet? Just Gulfstream and Aqueduct. $20 minimum win, place, or show bets. You can bet all you want, but they must make 9 bets during that day. So it's an easy contest to get in, easy to follow, easy to win. Well, we'll see. That's up to you, but don't miss it. Go online, hialeahpark.com, or call them or go there yourself Sunday morning. The gates open at 10, both Saturday and Sunday. Saturday for Pegasus, Sunday for the tournament.
So you have to make a minimum of 9 bets. Is that the deal? Or
Yeah,
if you
yeah.
put 300 on like one horse,
Yeah,
to
well,
win,
you got to make 9 bets. You must
but
make
you have
9
to at least
bets.
make 9 total bets. Okay,
Yeah,
so you might want to go
you put
20,
300
20,
on one
20,
horse and he's out of the money, you're
Yeah.
out of the tournament. Yeah. So just
Yeah.
figure 9 bets out
Okay.
of probably
Makes sense.
maybe 20 races. Yeah.
All right, we have to squash the finals
Yeah,
here.
my phone's not letting me put
Okay.
both people together for some reason.
Okay, all right.
Okay.
So we're going to declare both guys winners. Is
looks
that fair?
out to
What
both.
was the question? By
There
the
you
way?
go.
We want to at least entertain
The question was for our lovely and talented Lesley Visser, who's next. In
Yeah.
honor of her, we want to know who was the first guard to lead the NBA in scoring for a season.
that. First guard to lead the NBA in scoring for a
Yep.
season. I'm going to say Oscar Robertson.
No, but that was one of the choices, as we
All
used
right.
to say. Was
Okay.
it Dave Bing, Jerry West, or Sam Jones?
Got to be Sam Jones if you're asking the question. No?
No. Believe it or not, he ended his
Dave
career
Bing?
with the Celtics. Yes, the former mayor of Detroit, Dave Bing, whose
Syracuse
basketball
standout,
camp I
right.
went to. Yep, I went to his basketball camp, him and Richie Cornwall, where Bill Bradley and Billy Cunningham were the guest speakers. What a tournament.
1968, Dave Bing in the backcourt with one Jimmy Boeheim for the Syracuse
That's-
Orangemen,
wow,
Yes.
Syracuse. Huh.
who were orange men at the time, but
Well-
now they're just orange. They're
Right.
just a color.
Please
All
say
right.
hello to the lovely and talented Lesley Visser.
We
And
will.
tell her, like I said to her on New Year's Eve or afterwards, I wished her Happy New Year. And I said, Wayne Gretzky was a figure skater. Bobby Orr was a hockey player. And we'll leave you on that.
All right. That'll be all over TikTok later on today. And all right. Did he really compare Wayne Gretzky to Tara Lipinski?
Cerny, you'll love that.
Johnny wants us to book Johnny Weird, which, you know what? I don't know. Do you see him doing a lot of interviews? You would think he'd be on one of those Good Morning America type of shows, no? They love him. He's with NBC. Is he on like the Today Show or something like that? Johnny Weir as like a fashion
Yeah, I
consultant?
guess around like these sporting events that he
Yeah.
hosts, probably. I would think. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, look, I'm accepting of anything, and the guy is sort of entertaining, actually, and a little wacky though, right? The outfits and the hair and everything. But when the old staunchy, racetrack, stoopers saw Johnny Weir for the first time on Kentucky Derby coverage, you can't tell me that wasn't a little bit of an eye opener for a lot of people. No. When he started doing horse racing, that was great with Lipinski. Red carpet stuff, but nonetheless. All right, Lesley Visser going to join us then. Jim Larranaga, so going to be a lot of fun. And, looking very much forward to the remainder of the program. Later on today, about 11 o'clock on the Believe, BLEAV podcast network. Just call Believe Network now. They dropped the podcast thing because everybody's podcasting. Brandon Lang with his thoughts on the conference championship games upcoming. And we'll be back with the lovely and talented Lesley Visser in a moment. Now that.
The time.
8:19. Ponies in Style at Champions, the outstanding simulcasting room at beautiful Hialeah Park. Yes, the grand old lady of thoroughbred racing has never been more vibrant, and you can wager on the races from the top tracks around the country while enjoying a cocktail at the Brass Rail Bar or any of the fine food served throughout the facility. If poker is your game, you're covered in style. And you can play all your favorite Vegas-style games, including blackjack, craps, and roulette, in Hialeah Park's sizzling hot casino. Get a player's card when you walk through the door for all kinds of generous amenities, including our favorite, free play, when you come out to the ultimate casino and entertainment destination, Hialeah Park.
Hey folks, Tony Segreto here. You know, since day one, Catholic Health Services has been part of Old School. And since we've started letting people know about them, it's changed their lives. You see, Catholic Health Services, while being recognized as one of the top places for stroke rehab in the country, it's also about a group of people who not just excel in what they do, from the doctors to the nurses to the therapist, on and on and on. It's how they do what they do every single day that separates them from the pack. They do it with a passion, unmatched, and the inclusion of family in every step of the process. Trust me when I tell you this. If you want the best, unmatched rehab with a special group of skilled, caring people, there is truly only one place, and that one place is Catholic Health Services.
These days, we're all looking for comfort anywhere we can find it. Thank goodness for Landlubbers Raw Bar and Grill in the Plantation location, because they are making sure you are as comfortable as possible. First of all, they're not only open for delivery and pickup. All you have to do is go to landlubbersbarandgrill.com for both pickup and free delivery. Their hours have changed a little bit. Monday through Thursday from 3:30 to 10, and Friday, Saturday, and Sunday from 11:30 to 10. You're going to have the best wings in the world. You're going to have a great burger. You're going to have their amazing soups. Again, Landlubbers Raw Bar and Grill. It's nice and easy. Just go to landlubbersbarandgrill.com for both your pickup and free delivery. Thank goodness for Landlubbers for making you always feel right at home.
Lesley Visser, a lovely and talented one. I mean, the first woman and for a long time, the only woman, there are now two, in the NFL Hall of Fame. I mean, in there with all of the greats, Johnny U, Joe Willie, all of our favorites, Joe Montana, the great Dan Marino, and Lesley Visser, part of the scene in the NFL Hall of Fame. But what level of distinction is it to be the first guest on our new program? Because I would imagine, Lesley Visser, and by the way, how are you? Thanks so much for joining us here on the program.
Is this an after-school special?
This isn't practice. We're doing it. We're all over the world.
Congratulations to you guys. I want to know, I'm so proud to be your first guest. And, of course, I have a number of things to go over that maybe this time it could be different. You know, isn't that the gambler's creed?
You think we can erase the past all at once here in one program? It's impossible.
The modern-day odd couple, Defo and Lubie, are on now. It is, of course, the Defo Show.
There she is. Very good. Welcome back to the show, and we welcome to the program. And as you can see, it's impossible to look that good this early in the morning, Lesley Visser. Where are you? Are you on some? Are you in Australia covering the Open? I mean, look how wonderful you look. Thanks for joining us here on the show, Lesley Visser.
You know, is this the Brady Quinn show?
It will be.
Where am I? It will be.
How are you? You
I'm
look wonderful.
I saw, buddy. Thank you. Hi, Lubie. I saw a friend of yours last night, Blake James, who's Boston College athletic director, and they're playing Miami tonight. The women are, but he has great things to say about Jim Larranaga. Boston College is a lift, as you know. We're not really doing that, that well. We just keep claiming we're an academic school in a pro town. So,
what happened there? Yeah, I mean, they were always representative. I remember Boston College. You know, it was not necessarily winning NCAA championships, but when we used to travel there for games with the University of Miami, it was like, I mean, these guys are dangerous.
Well, Blake said the hardest thing, and you guys know this, is the NIL money, getting collective money. And remember, he came down here and cleaned up the Shapiro mess, but now you want that money.
Yes.
Honestly.
Nevin's welcome on campus now. Well, what do you think about all of that? Because it seems like now if you're in college football or basketball, you need to have not just an athletic director, but actually like Brian Cashman, some general manager, helping you run the show the way things are going now.
Yeah, the collectives, they're enormous, and the schools, it's Texas A&M, it's Alabama, it's Clemson. It's just not. Florida State, Lubie, they probably have huge, but they can't really. I mean, you saw with the kid from Florida, they can't really control the collectives. So now those the guys backed out at UCLA, and I don't know. It's a real. They took the guardrails down, and now it's like bumper cars.
It's great. I mean, it's like oil money versus hillbilly money. That's kind of what we're looking at in college football, especially, right? Are the Texas teams going to do it with these oil guys, Oklahoma, whatever? But then you have on this side of the country, hillbilly money. I think is hard to top, right? Look at Alabama.
Yeah, anything that's in a pro town is hard for colleges. Seriously, that's
Yeah.
excuse. So, wait. The first thing I have to ask you is, did you guys see the video of the guy who walked on the court with the hamburgers? Did you
No.
hear about this? Oh, Lubie, you have to find this.
Okay.
Last night during the Loyola basketball game, like a chubby guy walked out with an Uber Eats delivery. He walked in the court. And yes, you got to find this. And they weren't sure if it were for the referee or one of the players. A guy walks on the court in the middle. Somebody's got an out of bounds pass, and the referee is waving him. Yes, you have to find this, Lubie. It's hysterical. You'll have a great time with it.
What the heck?
And it wasn't a setup. I mean, how'd this guy just wander out there?
He was looking around for whoever ordered. It was a bag of McDonald's burgers from Uber Eats.
It was like a Pacers Pistons game. Yeah, I mean, what is that? Where that fat kid wandered out there and got socked by I forget who it was.
In the Palace.
Yeah. All right. I mean, you've been on a lot of sideline situations for big conference championship games, and I want to say I don't know if it was one of the last ones you did. What was it, that Green Bay game against the Giants, where it was absolutely, I mean, sub-frigid. Even Lombardi, I mean, wouldn't have been out there that day. And you had the hat, and it was like snow attached to it. It was one of those things. And wasn't that where Brett Favre threw the late pick, and the Giants went on to win the Super Bowl that year? Now, what are your recollections of that day? Because I remember it had to be very difficult to speak once you got the action thrown at you.
Yeah, your mouth freezes. No, I did the Brett game that was indoors against the Vikings. Remember, where it was his last, or he was with the Vikings. It was his last gasp, and he threw an interception to kind of end his career. Which is why don't you think it's interesting? Where will Brady try it one more time with someone and then stumble around the outfield like Willie Mays at the end?
Yeah,
you just you hear everything. I can't imagine he'd want to go in the AFC where you have Allen and Mahomes. You have all the young guys in Burrow.
Yeah, all
I don't know. Do you have a thought on if he'll stay or if he'll go?
Don't know. I mean, very difficult read. I don't even think Jim Gray knows.
Well,
How do you pick a patsy like Jim Gray to host your show? I mean, come on. Does that not discredit his chance of being a good broadcaster? I don't know.
Somebody else cool is on there. Michael Stein.
Larry Fitzgerald.
Yeah.
I think.
Larry Fitzgerald. So.
I like Larry. I mean, he's got a good personality, and obviously was a tremendous talent, and seemed like he did a lot of things on the right side of what you would want from your quasi role model athlete. But no, I don't know. I mean, look, he wasn't terrible this year. That's the thing. And yet every time I saw him, he was terrible. But if you look the stats up, I mean, the guy, actually had a very good season by any standard. And yet every time I watched Tampa Bay, it was like, wow, this guy's a shot fighter. I don't think, he didn't look like he was absolutely finished. So maybe Las Vegas Raiders, I would think, would be the ultimate destination for Brady, no? We got Lesley froze on us here.
Froze.
She looks great, but froze solid. Perhaps it was my mesmerizing dissertation on the future of Tom Brady. All right, see if we can, kind of correct that, because this was going well. And I can't believe how stunningly beautiful Lesley Visser looks. Not that she's not always that way. There you are. What was it, my mesmerizing dissertation on Tom Brady's future?
Great timing.
Yeah. that just, you froze on it. You froze.
I'm sorry. I was starting to tell you that I think that the 49ers and the Eagles are mirrors of each other. And the only difference, I think, will be that the defensive line puts pressure on Purdy, and that, Hurts has just a little more experience. But I think that those two teams are pretty close.
You obviously are accustomed to living on the edge in spite of your dignified appearance and professional career, it just seems like Purdy for the last couple of games I've watched him is kind of dangling on the ledge there a little bit, right? I mean, he's like one of the Walendas, where all of a sudden you realize wind is a 4-letter word, right? And you're in the middle of the Snake Canyon or whatever on a high wire, and it just seems like one of those plays is going to backfire this time. And it's going to be significant. Where he's come close a few times, even though he hasn't made the big bozo play. But I mean, he's gotten away with murder with the hands of stone that was exhibited by the Dallas Cowboy defensive backs.
He reminds me of Bjorn Borg.
Wow.
He just does it, and then he wins, and he's got great weapons around him. I don't know. I see these two games as being really close. The other one, it's just you just can't bet against Joe Burrow.
No, and people aren't. Yeah, they've made them the favorites in this game.
Are they?
Yeah.
Ankle
injury, the injury. Yeah.
Mahomes, but Mahomes, see, I would be playing this just the opposite. I don't know about you, but this defies all of the secrecy that's always involved in NFL football, as if it was, Norman Schwarzkopf, was analyzing the data there. When you have Mahomes with a cane coming to practice, maybe even a wheelchair, and he's lobbing a few. And then you got Chad Henne holding press conferences. Even if he was fine, wouldn't you at least make it look like he had no chance to play in this game?
Isn't Chad Henne? I mean, you think I thought this has to be his son, right?
That's what I thought. Exactly.
Play with Defo said.
Yeah.
He's from the same hometown as Taylor Swift. Is that right?
Oh, good.
It could be. I mean, she would certainly be the more popular figure there, I would imagine. Over
it's like
Checkdown Chad, who we hated when he was here. I mean, for no reason, we just hated this guy.
Do you know that Gurggles is from the same hometown as Amanda Seyfried? Of course, you don't know who she is. She's a great actress.
Yeah, she's great.
Do you think Gurggles knows her?
Doubtful.
No.
But long shot Larry is also from his hometown. He's very familiar with him and his body of work, which no doubt will get to Hall of Fame stature somewhere. All right, so what do you think? I mean, it's a great story either way. I mean, in both games, I feel, and I really do believe that both games are a toss-up. And I don't really have any big rooting interest either way. All teams are likable enough. If you were choosing which sideline to be on to report on.
Oh yeah, what's the best stories?
Well, what story would you want to follow here?
I'm really interested in Purdy being Mr. Irrelevant, which is just so ridiculous.
Yeah.
Why should you pay everybody Mahomes money when somebody like Purdy? And I wonder that if now coaches, they always overthink it on draft day. Well, who's the Purdy who's out there? But I think that. I think Joe Burrow will find one of those receivers because I think Kansas City, if they have a tiny weakness, excuse me, it's their defensive backs.
Yeah.
But I think it would be, any of those sidelines would be a blast to be on. I'll tell you one thing I just did. I'd like to know your thoughts on this. Have you guys seen the promos for 80 for Brady?
Yes.
Are you in it? Wow.
Okay. 3 days.
You don't qualify age-wise. I mean, to be in that.
I was interviewing people older than me. Can you guys?
Look at you.
3 days ago, I interviewed the 4 women.
That's amazing.
Oh yeah, nice.
Right.
I mean, that's a group. I mean, that group's ridiculous.
Oh my God, they're all. And guess how old Rita Moreno is?
She's the oldest one, right? That's what I thought because she looks
83.
91.
Wow. Yeah, she's older. Yeah, she's older.
83 would have been a shocker.
And
Yeah. She's still good though, too. I mean, she's very coherent and lively and vibrant and all of that. That's fantastic. Yeah, very inspirational. So as I'm laying down in bed moaning, that I'm in pain in every, body part and limb, maybe I should think about Rita Moreno. What's that thing going to be about? I mean, it looks like something that you probably have to watch, right? But what's the whole idea behind it?
It's a sweet story. The 4 older women, they decide as their last gasp, they're going to go to see Brady. It's the game against Atlanta. That's the one.
Super Bowl. Oh, Jesus.
By the way, don't you think, well, I don't know, for you guys, what's your greatest Super Bowl? Because I think that.
Well, you know mine. Yeah.
Oh, please, don't name it.
100%. Defo. He hasn't left 1970.
Super Bowl 3, man. We all knew it. We all knew the mighty Colts were going down. Very cocky bunch of Jet fans back then. And Joe Willie really stole the show. I mean, people debate whether he's a Hall of Famer. What do you think about that? I don't mean to get into a silly
What
sports
do I
debate.
think about that? I think nobody talks about the New York Jets.
Super Bowl III revolutionized the game. I mean, it changed everything. Everybody's perspective. The AFL was garbage before that. Garbage.
It was. When I first saw the Patriots, I saw them in Fenway Park on a Friday night because that vagabond AFL, they played at Harvard and BU and BC. So you're right. It did change.
And the AFL was fun. They embraced fun. They were throwing a ball. They were chucking it down the field. Yeah, it wasn't, Horning and Taylor 3 yards in a cloud of dust and a little bit of a sweep.
And Babe Pirelli, thank you.
No, it was very exciting, Paul. I mean, and the Patriots, they had the great helmet, man, with the Patriot guy on there. I always liked that helmet and logo, way better than anything that they modernized since then. All right, so many things on it. Did you ever get a close enough glimpse at that plate chart of Andy Reid's to decipher whether or not it was a Chinese restaurant menu?
They're the Chinese.
No, but actually, one of my friends is Eric Stone Street from Modern Family.
Oh, really? He's great.
He's fabulous. And he moved back to Kansas City because he's such a Reid fan. He looks like Andy Reid dresses up. And he moved back there just because they're so much fun to watch. So I think Andy Reid, he spoke at Madden's funeral when I was privileged to be one of the speakers. And he said that John always taught him the whole key to life is always act 12 years old.
Which they do a good job of. Although Andy Reid seems far more serious. I guess Madden was a very serious guy when he was on the coaching sidelines. All right. You're going to countries now and traveling to places that we can't even pronounce. All right. But what were you interviewing Triple G or something? Where was Uzbekistan?
No,
and why were you there?
Uzbekistan.
I got invited by. Thanks for asking. I got invited by the State Department to go to Uzbekistan.
Which State Department?
Our State Department.
Yeah, our State Department.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
Oh, I'll tell you something.
I get a letter from the State Department. I'm going to Mexico City. I'm telling you right away. No questions asked. But I don't even open the letter.
They invited me to speak to female athletes, journalists, and entrepreneurs. And I'll tell you guys, it was really an eye opener. Do you know they're one of only 2 double landlocked countries in the world, which means the country next to them is landlocked, but the one next to that is open to the sea or the ocean. So their travel is terrible. Guess how much this might seem like a lot to you, Lubie, and to you, Defo. Yeah. Guess how much the average household income is yearly in Uzbekistan?
$400.
40,000.
Not bad. Well, somewhere between $1,200.
$1,200. Okay, I was closer. Yeah.
A former Soviet republic. All the ones around them are the stands.
What can you do with the $1,200? I mean, obviously, you're not going to the track with that.
They don't even have freedom.
Oh, does it buy you enough to live? I mean,
it buys you some of those. They were the Silk Road. Remember the ancient Silk Road? So it can buy you some of those like Moroccan slippers.
I used to wear those when I was working at the Dharma Graham restaurant.
And when
very attractive in yellow pointy shoes. Yeah, no, those things. And God forbid there was something spilled in the kitchen floor, which the Mexican cooks and they were very, very famous for doing that on purpose, as the guys they didn't like came in to get their orders.
But I have to tell you something that no one else is going to hear this, right? Okay, this is my trip to Uzbekistan. Yeah. You fly 13 hours to Istanbul, 7-hour layover.
Oh, nice, in Istanbul.
Istanbul. Hard to believe there's only one flight to Tashkent a day. So
there you go. And what is that on? Is that on a bird of some sort?
It's on a camel. So you get there. But anyway, the State Department sends you a stipend, right, for the whole thing.
Yeah.
Okay. Everybody in the State Department except the ambassadors go coach. Well, was I going to go coach to Tashkent? No. So that took up another 10,000 of the stipend. They say, "Oh, we have lots of little nice Uzbek B&Bs." Was I going to say
that an Uzbek B&B? Yeah, what is that? Like a thatched hut? Yeah.
So then they had one like businessman's Hyatt. So I stayed in that, which charged American money. So I went to Uzbekistan for 9 days and made about $100.
Yeah, big.
What did you find there, man? I mean, what did you eat? Was it Anthony Bourdain time? What were you doing?
On a serious note, it's historically rich, economically poor. The U.S. State Department, they sponsor self-defense classes because domestic abuse is a huge problem there, and it's considered a family matter. So no one takes care of the women, and they have no freedom of the press. But they get bloggers, and they all want to come to the United States. For as messy as democracy is, people want to come here.
Now, did they recognize you as the international celebrity that you are?
They don't speak English because they were a Soviet republic.
That helps if you're giving a speech, I would imagine.
I had an interpreter the entire time.
Oh, okay. Wow.
And only this would happen to me. My new best friend, Farouz, he's a freak for Tom Brady and blames it on Giselle. This is the conversation I have.
He's onto something there, obviously. A sharp guy.
No, when I land in Uzbekistan.
Come on, man. Giselle's already connected with this guy that just happened to be her personal trainer. I mean, now what are we talking about here? Roger Clemens all over again?
Are you getting that from Jim Sarney? Is that who told you that?
Probably Sarney.
Sarney is very cynical about this whole thing. Yeah,
one of my sports editors in college.
Unbelievable. All right, so how did you get out of there? I mean, was it dicey at all, or was there a chance that Lesley, we're going to have to keep you around here for a couple of more days while we check out certain indiscretions in your passport, Miss Santos?
Well, I did have a lot of. I have sinusitis, so I had a lot of medication. So I thought, is this going to be Brittany Griner?
Exactly.
You're in Uzbekistan penal colony. That must be a great position.
I hope you come get me, wouldn't you, Defo? You come.
Oh, I definitely, yeah. But who would know that you were there, right? I mean, it takes 11 years probably to get a communication.
Definitely be known that she was
How about
there.
this? This is something for you guys to follow. They have a gymnast, Oksana Chusovitina. I'm sure you're familiar with her.
Oh, yeah.
You're not going to believe this. This is hope for all of us. They
call her the twos. The twos.
she is going for her 9th Olympics in Paris. She's a gymnast.
But isn't she the only representative on the team? Like, she's the only one that tried out?
What, you had to ask that? What?
Yeah.
She's going to be 50.
50 years old and still does gymnastics?
Doing gymnastics?
She does. Vault. She does the vault.
Holy Olga Corbett, my God. That's impossible.
That's amazing.
Do more with your walk of life.
I know.
All right.
Exactly.
Excellent. All right, Lesley, always a pleasure. I mean, and that sounds great. Now, any other adventures of this nature on the horizon, or you're just going back to conventional stuff?
No, I just did the story with the 4 women.
Who aired February 7th on CBS Sports Network.
February 7th on CBS. Thank you for that. So they were, I did ask, because, I am an awarded, a renowned journalist.
Yes.
I did ask Sally Field. Gronk suggested that Brady date Sally Field. So I did ask her, how that was going.
Yeah.
She said that she heard that he's taking up pickleball. Do you guys know this?
Oh, yeah. He's into it.
So she's, that's right up our alley, right?
Yes,
So
pickleball. That's what's next.
she and Tom were pickleball.
I mean, being an old geezer getting smacked in the face with a pickleball racket by your partner and then, putting up your bloody lips on Facebook, if that's the athletic future, then I may as well.
You're going to be
just take that cyanide cap now. Yeah, that would be it. Hey, you'll be happy to know there's help for us all, Lesley, including Lubie and me. You seen this ad? It's airing like 1,000 times, it seems like, during the Australian Open. For the phone line psychiatry that you can get, where you can dial up a shrink. So I'm thinking maybe that works. I'm going to give that a shot.
Oh my God!
Psychiatry, it's called. Every other ad now. I mean, it's either the pillow guy telling you to get a good night's sleep, or somebody.
Which, by the way, for you guys, all the Hollywood actresses are taking Ozempic. It's supposed to be for diabetes, but it's the new weight loss.
It's kind of like when Muhammad Ali took that thyroid medication, got down to 224, and became the favorite over Larry Holmes.
And still,
it was like, what the hell? Lesley, we love you.
I love you guys. Talk soon.
Thanks for joining us. Yeah.
Bye.
Everybody send it in on Ali. I don't know if you remember that fight. Larry Holmes, he annihilated him. I mean, he had to beg the ref to stop it. All right, Jim Larranaga is going to join us. Do we go straight to Jim Larranaga, or you want to take a couple of seconds off? Okay, we'll come right back with Coach L of the University of Miami basketball team in a moment. Now that.
The time.
8:44.
Folks, Tony Segreto here. Let me ask you a question. What do you look for when you go out to eat? Good food, obviously, friendly atmosphere, not too loud, but good energy, reasonable prices, and a place where you feel comfortable. All those ingredients, no pun meant there, are hard to find unless you're talking about the Texas Roadhouse. You see, they encompass all of those attributes. Really, really good food, amazing atmosphere, good for a family, good for a date, or just a night out for yourself, and prices that will make you extremely happy. Their ribs, unmatched. Steaks, hand cut every day. Everything, and I mean everything, is made on site, including their incredible bread. It's the one day, folks, that you can forget about low-carb diets. Trust me when I tell you, Texas Roadhouse, your restaurant, your destination when you say, where should we go and eat tonight?
From the newly renovated sports bar to the beautiful bayside views captured at the Tiki Bar, Jimmy Johnson's Big Chill has it all. Located at mile marker 104, the Big Chill also offers waterfront dining while experiencing breathtaking sunset views of the Florida Keys. It's simply the hottest spot in the Keys to cool off. That's Jimmy Johnson's Big Chill at mile marker 104 in Key Largo. For more information, call today at 305-453-9066.
Jim Larranaga, we love you, Jim Larranaga. Coach Larranaga, won't you do us a favor? Bring us a winner, one stinking winner. Deliver a winner in this town filled with losers.
Buenos dias. The cafecito is piping hot. Why not enjoy it with Defo and Lubie? It's now time for the Defo Show.
All right, welcome back to the show. All right, thanks to the lovely and talented Lesley Visser for joining us here on the program. Big fan of this gentleman, Lesley is, as well as all of us, and having a remarkable season with his Hurricane basketball team. We welcome him to the show, and it's always a pleasure to have the great Jim Larranaga join us here. Jim, how are you, my friend?
I'm doing great, people. I hope your show is very popular. People are listening in. I love Lesley Visser. She's been a great friend for a very long time.
Yeah, she's fantastic. And a huge college basketball advocate. I mean, maybe second only to Dick Vitale in overall passion for college hoops, and a lot of interesting experiences covering all those Final Fours, which we hope you are ticketed for. Certainly, if all the fans saw was the first half, especially of that game against FSU. I don't know if you borrowed anything in the pregame speech from the late great Vitas Garolaitis. And he was talking about how he had lost like 17 straight times to Jimmy Connors. And he said nobody beats Vitas Garolaitis 18 times in a row after he won the match. But you had a little streak going of negativity there against Florida State. And I don't know. I mean, how much was that on your mind, Jim? Did you give it the old Bobby Knight? I'm sick and tired of losing to Purdue, or how did that go?
Okay, first of all, do you think I know who Vitas Garolaitis
is? New York tennis star. Yeah. I mean, Huntington Beach.
Think I know who he is or not?
I believe you do. I believe you probably played ball against him. You might have even taken a set from him back in the day.
Okay. He went to my high school.
Of course he did.
Oh, great. Of course. Yeah. There you go. Eddie Malloy. Yeah, he was my favorite rival in basketball. Yeah, that was beautiful.
He was my favorite tennis player for a long time.
That's so
great. Yeah.
He unfortunately passed away at a very young age.
Yes.
But he was great. And yes, I used Vitas's motivational expression. I told the guys,
that's great.
No, nine is enough. That's it. We're stopping this tonight. And we were off to the races as soon as the tip. We were running and gunning, and 54 points in the first half, and we already had 14 assists. We were shooting lights out from three. Nigel Pack got us off to a great start. Wooga Papa had his game in the ACC, and Isaiah Wong started to feel better during the game. And he's been dealing with a sinus infection and having a very hard time breathing. And the end result is, he struggled against Duke, but he was able to bounce back against Florida State.
Yeah, that Duke game was a tough one, and of course, I'm still cringing watching this guy bank in a 45-footer there, a buzzer beater for 3 points that obviously turned out to be very significant in the outcome of that game. Did you do it? I thought right away when Nigel Pack lined up that first, he had to be 30 feet from the basket. He goes Steph Curry on you. And I think it was like 4-1 Florida State at the time. Did you install the Coke machine at the practice facility? That was from the Coke machine, Coach. And I was thinking, all right, they just bouncing off a loss here, and this guy is he is fearless at putting that up. How good did you feel? Because it looked like the stroke was right on the money there, and he made a few of them early in the game and helped you guys open up a big lead.
Here's what I've said, that the ACC regular season is a marathon, and you travel. We play 10 road games and 10 at home. But this is a week where we have 3 straight road games. First at Duke, then at Florida State, and we leave tomorrow for Pittsburgh. So in order to conserve some energy and have the juice on Tuesday against Florida State, we decided before the season started, let's fly from Durham to Tallahassee and get a practice at Florida State, get comfortable with the surroundings, and see if that helps. And so we played Duke on Saturday, flew to Tallahassee on Sunday, took Sunday off. We just rested, watched some video from our Duke game. And then on Monday, we got over to their facility and practiced and had a very good 1 hour, hour and a half practice. And I think the guys felt very, very comfortable. They got to shoot the Florida State basketball. What's interesting about college basketball is schools all have their own basketball. Some are Nike, some are Adidas, some are Under Armour. So you got to get used to the basketball on the opponent's home court. And so we were able to do that. And I think Nigel Pack just felt very good going into the game, that he was shooting the ball well. And he came out on fire. And that kind of ignited the rest of the guys. Jordan Miller made a 3 early. Wooga Poplar made a couple. And then Isaiah caught fire. He and Nigel ended up both with 18 points for the game. And we were on a path to score over 100, but we really slowed down in the second half. We turned the ball over too much, but still were able to win by 23, the most point differential in the rivalry's history.
Coach, it's funny. It feels like so many people forgot that UM made it to the Elite Eight last year. I know you guys didn't. How important was that experience for this team? Because it felt like it feels often one season to the next are two different stories, but it hasn't felt like that for you guys. Like it feels like that run just continued into the season. You guys haven't stopped since.
Well, I thank you for saying that. I'd like to think there's some truth to it. But also, this is a new team.
Yeah.
Nigel Pack is new. Norshad O'Meara is new. The sophomores, Bensley Joseph and Wooga Poplar, are really in different roles this year than they were last year. Last year they backed up, Charlie Moore and Cam McGusty. Now they're basically both starters, and they play starter minutes. They get to make the plays that win the game. And so with Jordan Miller returning, Isaiah Wong returning, we've got a good nucleus of players, some from last year, some new guys. So very, very happy with where we are, but we still got a long ways to go. As I said, our schedule is brutal right now. We play at Pittsburgh. We come back home and play Virginia Tech, who just beat Duke, and then we play Duke again. So we hope the students will keep coming out and our fans will keep coming out and cheering on this team, because it makes a big difference at home here.
Jim Larranaga, head coach of the University of Miami basketball team, on with us here on the Defo Show. One thing, and we were talking yesterday with Dusty May, who was writing a nice little story there at FAU with the 18-game winning streak, and I don't know that he's coming out of nowhere with this, but he's mowed down Florida and a couple of other schools that he was an assistant at. And I thought of you when I was speaking with him, because I'm watching the Hurricanes play. those guys are really in sync with each other and seem to be having a good time playing with each other. And you have this interesting mix where obviously they're in tune with fundamentals and know how to play the style of defense that you're looking for, but they're having a good time out there. Which is more relatable to say the modern day athlete that isn't taking everything as seriously. Except during the time when they're on the court, and wants to have a good time and play an up tempo game of basketball. Not an easy balance to accomplish, but I mean, you've done that with this team, and they look like they really enjoy playing with each other, which you don't always see.
Well, I definitely agree with you, people. These guys really enjoy playing basketball. They really enjoy playing with each other, and we have kind of a unique style. Last year we were small ball. This year we're smaller ball. But I was on Instagram. I kind of follow up players and what is posted. And I saw a quote by Jay Wright, the great coach of Villanova, who retired last year. And he was talking about the year they won the national championship and they beat North Carolina, hitting a game-winning shot. Chris Jenkins hit a NBA three for the win. But he was talking about attitude. And he just said, we had such a great attitude. The players were all for one and one for all. There was no ever complaining, no criticizing of each other. And when Carolina made a three to go ahead by two, or to actually tie the game, I'm not sure what the score was, but Villanova's players walked over to the bench chanting one word. And to me, it's very, very impressive. They were chanting attitude, attitude, attitude. We've got to have a great attitude right now. And they did. They were very positive. They didn't complain to each other. How'd you let that guy get the three? We can't give up the three. And as an end result, they go into the last possession. They only have 5 seconds to score, and they run a play to perfection and make the shot for the win. But everything that we do at Miami involving our basketball program begins with a positive attitude. We want everybody associated with our program, coaches and players, have a positive attitude, not to complain, not to make excuses. And that's what you see on the court. These guys are playing their hearts out for each other.
The great Jim Larranaga with us, and the Canes continue their fine season with a road game against Pittsburgh after just a dominating performance against Lubie's Florida State Seminoles. Opened up 20-something early and maintained that throughout. All right, I thought of you last night. I watched this program many times now and catch it in different segments. The New York Point Gods on Showtime. I don't know. I'm sure you've seen this, and I believe you told us that you did. Oh, okay. And but you did, I think, at one time tell us, did you not play some Rucker Park basketball during your days as a high school phenom in New York City?
No, I never played at Rucker. But, of course, I was very familiar with guys who played at Rucker and played against them, like Dr. J. He's the one playing against Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. And I played against great players throughout my high school days and college days. Rucker Park is, legendary for, players who you never heard of coming out of the woodwork, and Herman the helicopter, guys like that, who I don't know if you know the name Earl Manigault.
Sort of rings a bell, yeah.
So he was a playground legend. He was a player you knew from college because he didn't go. I don't think he went to college.
Yeah,
but a lot of great players. I played against one guy named Louis LaSalle. Everybody called him Tito. He was from Rice High School. I think he went to St. Jude's Elementary School. I played against him in elementary school, and we matched up against each other in high school. And my team played against his team in the New York City semifinals, and he was so good. He led his Rice team to the city championship that year. They beat us in the semifinal, and I was like, man, that guy's going to be a pro. And as it turned out, he had issues off the court that prevented him from even making it as a college player. So, everybody's journey is different. And in his case, it took him in a bad path, and unfortunately, whereas Dr. J, his college career helped vault him into being a first-round draft pick of the ABA and one of the greatest players of all time.
Oh, it's legendary stuff, and we always appreciate it when you come back and talk about your experiences there in New York. All right, great. Got off the Vitas Carolinas thing, knocked out Florida State in that ball game. That was great. Good luck against Pittsburgh, Jim. Always a pleasure. Thanks so much for taking time to be with us here on the show.
Oh, always my pleasure. Thanks, guys.
Coach, you're the best.
All right, thanks a lot, Jim Larranaga, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, we have to run. We're going to try and get our podcast together here with Brandon Lang. That'll drop about 11 o'clock on the Believe Podcast Network. And then you say, what? Mike Golick going to be part of our programming here. We'll have that. What, for Believe Podcast as well? Is that what we're doing?
That can air tomorrow on the Believe Network.
All right, very good, man. So we're doing some extra work here after the show. So we'll see you at 12 o'clock here on South Florida Live. Mike Mayo's Lunchbox. And then tomorrow we'll be out at Gulfstream Park. That'll be a lot of fun. And we'll see what Mike Mayo has cooked up today. I don't know. Is it a national day of any sort?
Sarnia hasn't clued me in. I have no idea.
He said it was like National Spouses Day.
I've done everything Sarnia wants. We're talking with coaches of schools we never talk about. We had a legendary female broadcaster on. We had Coach Larranaga. I'm trying to mix it up, Sarnia. I'm trying.
He's saying we're not mixing it up enough because we haven't referenced that Michaela Schifrin thing.
He wants to talk about Schifrin, and he wants to talk about figure skating like it's
figure skating, yeah.
You know,
holy Dick Button, man, unbelievable. I love Button, one of the great color commentators.
I like figure skating, but no one cares anymore. I don't know why.
To me, it's dreadful now. I mean, it used to be great because they would build up a star there, and you get a Peggy Fleming or somebody that captured Dorothy Hamlin, the imagination of America, and then of course you had the Nancy Kerrigan stuff.
So Kwan, even up to Kwan, and then after Kwan. I mean,
but the music, really, that Bavarian umpire music that they play in the background there. I mean, with all due respect to all of the great German composers, I mean, come on, can't come up with a better band than that. It's horrible, right? You're going to blow your brains out watching figure skating.
Oh, my God.
And then the horrible, corrupt judging. I mean, that, of course, I find it highly relatable being a boxing fan my whole life. Where the Adelaide Bird scorecard comes up. And even though these guys were flat on their face for the entire routine, they ended up somehow with a 5.6 out of 6. All right, we'll see you in a little while. Mike Mayo's Lunchbox, 12 o'clock. And thanks for tuning in, everybody. See you as we leave. You know that.
The time.
It's 9:02.
Let's go to eat a damn snack.
Look what they done to my soul.